shack at. The bottles getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, campers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, May 31st to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Been a rough 48 hours for myself. I'm still not 100%, but wouldn't miss the opportunity to cap with all of you and the Big Ragoo. And you know, the season is being poor thus far. It is actually mimicking last year quite a lot. Last year we ended up, about 28 units on the season. So, I'm just going to trust the process here. Yesterday would have been a strong day, but, that shit happens. You got to let that shit go. But I'm expecting us to succeed here today. There's a couple spots that I wanted to attack. The market's gone against me. I thought, you know what? How about you just make no bets until you talk it all out with the crew? So I've made no bets on today's card yet. We have a ton of afternoon action. We have a lot of excitement here today. So I'm happy to be back in action with all of you guys. Doc will be joining us shortly. Last Wednesday, May 17th, Doc went 7-3 plus 4.33 units. This is the same thing that Doc does every year with us. He gets stronger as the season goes on. And, it was a very, very good show for him last week. And back in action with us right now. I had a bad Friday. It was upsetting. I made 3 bets the night before, without help from the market. And I went 2-0 on them, 2-0-1 with a push. And then I lost the ones I made here. I've had a few days to kind of look at what I think there's certain spots that I want to trust the capping and not look at the market for, but I want to stick as close to the process that brought me success last year. Now, 2022 was the best year I've ever had in sports gambling. 2023 is not following that. I expect things to change, especially now that we're focusing solely on MLB. Now, tomorrow, with game 1 of the NBA Finals, Brizzy will be with us, so we'll be talking NBA, we'll be talking WNBA. But today and a lot of these days, our sole focus will be on MLB, and I expect us to succeed with this opportunity to focus on one sport. Justin McElvey in the house. Stacks play of the day, Reds team total over 4.5 at plus 102. I like that look. Reds have been just smashing lefties. We're going to go over all of those numbers, but let me lock this in for you here. We have the Stacks play of the day ready to go. And I must have just blown past the Reds here in the spot tires. Sorry. All right, a little off here. Where is the Reds game? I know I wrote down all of their stats. I'm not going to sit around here. Look, I've got pages and pages of notes. I'm going to pop it right here. I'll put it where it belongs here in a second. Adrian A. in the house says, is FanDuel acting up for anyone else, saying to update but not allowed to even log in? Can we let Adrian A. know if other people are having problems with a FanDuel? There's Wild Hound in the house. Wild Hound, we've missed you our last couple of horse streams. So hope you can run with us for the Belmont Stakes, June 10th. We're 11 days away from the Belmont Stakes. Atlanta Wake and Bake in the house. There's my guy Ron Walsek, J Dub, J Smooth, Nunya, Viper MB, Christopher Commentini, Fat Wally, Morgan Spooner. Serious business. Morgan Spooner on Texas -0.5, first 3 and 5. Says Wentz versus these Rangers. It looked like they weren't going to start Wentz. Again, his fastball has no movement. It had some movement last year, and last year he put together a pretty good year. This is a first-round draft pick that's failing miserably in front of all of our eyes. So I can understand why you are fading Wentz here, and I love Dane Dunning. I liked him last year, and we started making money off him in the second half of last year. But I like Dane Dunning. Londo ready to get to work. Nanya, my guy. And there's Doc, the Big Ragoo. We talked about his excellent performance 2 weeks ago here on the show. We only get him once every 2 weeks, so I had to make sure that I was here, even though I'm a little under the weather or was a lot under the weather. Mike Wilkerson, ready to go. Subhuman Gaucho. There is the New Corker, Billy Brisbane, Markel. Londo says, and fuck the Braves. He said, I had the -1.5, and they lost to the worst team in the league again. Yeah, the A's going for the sweep here. Now, it's an interesting situation with the A's heading off to Miami and not playing tomorrow. It brings up a lot of possibilities for them. First off, do they just want to get to Miami to start partying? Will they look past this game? Or also, will they be in kind of a rough shape on Friday after a night of partying in Miami? Or is it tonight that they party? That's the smarter way of doing it. Tonight they party in Miami. They get on the plane after the game, party in Miami, and then recover on Thursday and play Friday. But it does add a little trickiness to that Braves-A's game. Markel, Mike M, Michael Johnson, Rocco Rogers in the house. Great to see you, Rocco. JW, DC Capper, Christopher Carter, Larry Garr. Washington first 5 -0.5 at +128 for Larry Garr. Let me copy and paste that. The Nats in business here today. Let me make sure I got that ready to go. Nats, Dodgers, Patrick Corbin. I think there's value in Patrick Corbin, but he does scare me on the road. And the Dodgers are smashing lefties, something they haven't done in years previous. A 273, 916 OPS in the month of May. RVD 420, Jay's final take. Sky Dragon says Kikuchi season is back. That bothered me. Sky Dragon, that I wasn't in any kind of shape to move on the Jays. The Brewers are the worst team in the league against lefties. They still got a 2-run shot in the first inning, and I was like, oh, maybe it was good that I didn't move on it, but that would have been a spot where I would have cashed. There's Dennis Trusty in the house. Troy Torrance, Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play of the day is the San Francisco Giants. First 5 plus a hundo. The Giants, Pirates, Giants. So backing Alex Wood against Mitch Keller. It's very, very interesting spot. We had our guy, our San Francisco Giants whisperer, Nut Flush Allen, tell us that there's a fight right now going on with Alex Wood, the manager of the Giants, and it was either he was going to show out and prove his worth, or the opposite direction. And that last start was quite impressive by Alex Wood. So we'll be talking more about that as we move on. Piker in the house. Reds money line +155 and the over 10 are the only two he's locked in. Says let's cap. Let me copy and paste that here, so we are good to go with your Cincinnati Reds look. Okay, so that goes with our guy Justin McElvee's look here on the Reds. So I'll pop both of these right here and put them in the right order in a second. Saturated says bigger surprise, McClanahan gets lost versus the Cubs or Jose ignoring all the Celtics he talk. And yesterday was a winner. Thank you for sharing that with me, Ron Crawford. It's been like 48 hours in bed for me, so I've been missing a lot of that. But I will add that to your record, my friend. All right. Oh, and Troy Torrance says you have to delete FanDuel and then re-download it. All right, Rocco Rogers, Isaiah B in the house. Christopher Comentini, Wine Time Sports, Razor Sharp Picks, Mr. Heat, Steve G, Saturated. Thank you guys all for joining us. Jojo, Rich, Red Girl. It is a great, great group here. Time to get to work here. Time to get to work. And we bring in a capper that we all look up to and try to follow in his footsteps. It's always fun. Doesn't matter the sport. For him, though, it's MLB, NFL, and college football. But watching him get stronger and stronger as the year goes on, it's the same thing in every sport for him. The longer the sport is on, the stronger he gets, and he showed that with last show's performance, 7-3 plus 4.33 units from Ocala, Florida. Please welcome the Big Ragoo to the show. What up, Doc? How are you?
What's happening, baby dog? Jimmy, how you feeling, bro? You're not feeling too hot, huh?
I'm
Sorry
not,
to hear that,
not,
brother.
I'm not my best, but I think I'm on the other side of this thing, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity to cap with you. So
we're going to elevate you today, my man. We're going to push you up and make you feel a lot better after today's over.
Yeah, I did not want to miss this opportunity with the schedule we have. We have 6 different MLB cappers joining Betting with the Bag Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I only get you every 2 weeks, so I'm not going to miss this opportunity. My bankroll doesn't want to miss this opportunity, Doc.
Let's get it done, brother.
It is great to have you. Morgan Spooner, Texas, first 3 minus half plus 110. Texas, first 5 says, looking at the under in Jays Brewers. Let me copy and paste that, Morgan. Thank you for sharing that with us. New York and Florida parlay, Heat Panthers plus 820. Wow. Very, very interesting here. Let's get right to work. And we got a WTA look from Mike M. WTA look starting at 1:30 p.m. says have to take a shot at this price. I'm going to copy and paste this as well. Let's get this up on the screen there for all of you guys. All right. Time to get to work. Time to get that cash. Afternoon baseball. Possibly give us an opportunity. I guess it probably won't give us an opportunity to make live betting action because the first game's not till 1:10 p.m. First game's not for an hour and 57 minutes. Let's get to work. Doc, we start 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Morgan Spooner all over these Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers 35-19, 19-11 on the road. Detroit Tigers 25-28, 13-13 at home. We're at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Let's pull up the weather first and foremost. It's hot up here. Hot and beautiful weather up here in the north. And I'm sure that is happening in Detroit. 84 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 8.6 miles per hour in. Goes from 8.6 to 10.2 miles per hour in. Let's take a look at the line history then and with the total and, of course, the money line. We'll start with the money line, and we'll use a Pinnacle as our book here. Pinnacle opened this up with the Tigers minus 146. Now, I thought that Joey Wentz was going to be pulled because nobody was letting us bet this game. It only appeared at Pinnacle at 9:07 a.m. The first move was to the Rangers, but only 4 cents of movement towards the Texas Rangers. Take a look at the total. This total over at Pinnacle, again, only being out available for us to bet for 2 hours. This opened up at 9 minus 111 to the under. It's now minus 112 to the under. So a very, very little movement. I'm sure the cash flow will tell us that as well. So for the money line, 89% of the tickets coming in on the Rangers and just 78%. I shouldn't say just, but 78% of the cash. So there are some bigger bets coming in on the Tigers. With 89% and 78%, I'm a little surprised that the market isn't moving towards the Texas Rangers more than a 4-cent move. 60% of the tickets and 72% of the cash on the over, and the market's not following that either. Jojo Rich says first 5 under 5 here with the Rangers. Troy Torrance says that he's seeing more than 4 cents. Again, Troy, obviously, we're going to be looking at different books. We go through this every show. This is Pinnacle's line movement, and Pinnacle didn't open it up till 9:12 in the morning, like I said. So there's going to be differences. Some cappers would prefer to look at different books for their line movement, and it's all fair. Complete autonomy on how you want to cap the market. Here, we use Pinnacle. Dane Dunning starting for the Texas Rangers. He's been excellent this year. 1.67 ERA, 0.98 whip, 43 innings, 26 Ks, 10 walks, and no homers. Troy, I would prefer to tell you that on a DM and not promote that site personally. So why don't you hit me on a DM? We want to promote everything that is Pop Sports Radio here. Last start, 5 2/3. Dunning went 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 3 walks, and a 6-4 loss at Pittsburgh. Just allowed 6 hits. He's been very good on the road. 24 2/3 innings on the road. Now, remember last year that was, something we believed was his Achilles heel, but he's been very strong on the road this year. 2-0, 1.82 ERA, 202 opponents batting average. Joey Wentz, first round draft pick out of high school. Looked very good last year. Was supposed to be a big part of this rotation. He's been getting lit up and smoked. I backed him last start against Lance Lynn, and I didn't back him personally, but I did back him in the first 5 under that blew up immediately. 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 Ks, 2 walks, and 12-3 loss at home versus the White Sox. He's been terrible at home. 25 2/3, 0-2, 7.36 ERA, 302 opponents batting average. Michael Johnson says is Wentz starting. Yes. Yes, we thought that he was going to be moved, but let me just get that confirmation here. at Bet365 because they'll list the pitcher, or they'll say unknown pitcher if it's not, and it is Joey Wentz that they've got listed as well. Rangers versus lefties in May, smashing them 318, 870 OPS. Tigers have not been hitting righties, 240, 696 OPS. Rangers bullpen has been a problem, 5.96 ERA, 1.45 WHIP, while the Tigers bullpen has been quite strong, 3.35 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. Here we go, Doc. Game 1 on the board after your very successful show last out. Take it away. Floor is yours. Rangers Tigers.
Yeah, I got. I don't know. The computer got zapped. Something just shut down and restarted on me. Well, I apologize for that. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to overthink here, guys. On this spot here, I mean, the way that Wentz has been pitching, and Dunning has been pretty solid. You know, all year he's got the job done, and the whole Texas organization, for that matter. I know a few weeks when Dabby was talking about waiting for them to kind of fall off. Well, I don't see this team falling off anytime soon. And to me, the big difference maker on this squad is the skipper in the clubhouse, Bochy. I mean, he's anytime you got a good skipper, they can get the clubhouse in the right frame of mind, and that's what this team is at right now. So, and they've surpassed the Rays on run differential. So this team is doing all the right things here. They're hitting, they're pitching, you know, they're playing solid baseball. Good manager, you got just everything's going right for this team, almost too good for that matter. And you know, Dunning has faced them early on. You know, he's on a short sample size. I think he's 0-2 in 4 starts against them. So, I mean, the way he's pitching right now, I don't think it's going to matter. And the way Wentz is pitching, so I look to get involved in a couple of different ways with the Rangers here. I'm probably going to be. It's going to be a little bit of a high number here for the team total for them, but I think they smash here. And even if they get to them a little early and then they get to work the bullpen a little bit too, they'll get some runs to add up. So I think the hurt's going to come for the Tigers here in this spot. You know, the weather's going to be good, and I think Dane, even if Dane gets touched up a little bit, I kind of lean over for the full game. But I definitely like them on the run line, and I like the team total over for the Texas Rangers here.
So do you want to focus on first 5 or full game?
Full game. Full game.
All right. Let's lock that in for you. We've talked about the lack of movement at Pinnacle. We just had at 11:04 a.m. 11:04 a.m. So 16 minutes ago, there was an 8-cent move to the Detroit Tigers. That's the reason why we're only dealing with this 4-cent move right now. Because of this late move towards the Tigers. You know, the move, it doesn't make sense to me, and I can understand clearly what Ragoo is doing against Joey Wentz. So I get it. Joey knows that if this start goes poor, the only reason why he's still pitching for the Tigers, they have enormous injury problems in their starting rotation.
Yeah.
But the -1.5, I see a +113 at Pinnacle, and that will be your best line, +113. So Ragoo is in the Rangers -1.5 at +113, and we're gonna get a team total over. So we'll pop this up here. TJ says very confusing movements taking place. Tigers and under movements. Billy Friedrich, Rangers first 5 over 2.5 at -117. Piker saying BetMGM with the best lines, first 5 and full game run lines. There's Dabby Cab in the house. There is a daily sesh show. Finally, a nighttime sesh this evening, 10 p.m. Eastern. Dabby Cab and Dutch Boy Fresh back in action. A Wednesday night show, 10 p.m. tonight with Dabby Cab and Dutch Boy Fresh. All right, let's pull up the best team total we can get you. Something just feels off about this. There's a guy, Sharpie in the house. Wild Hound says, could you do the Europa League final? I have not capped the Europa League final, Wild Hound. I apologize for that. And I wouldn't. I stay in my lane in sports handicapping. But I can understand you being interested in that. We'd rather hear what you have to say about that. If you want to pop it into the chat, that would be more interesting for us. But back to this spot here. minus 142 for the Rangers is wild. Let's get your team total for the Texas Rangers here. Team total Rangers. I got over 4.5 at minus 133.
Ooh,
Do you want me to
up
find
there.
a 5.5 at plus money?
What about a flat 5?
I would have to build it. Let's see what's here. I could build it here at Bet 365. They've got a little cheaper, 3 cents cheaper, over 4.5 at minus 130, and the 5.5 at plus 130. So I could build you a 5 at even money.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so
I think they get 6. I think they get 6 runs, 6 or 7 in this spot today.
Over 5 at plus 100.
But just in case, I know that the mean is 4 always in baseball, but you see a lot of over longer terms. You see 4 3s, 4 4s. So, and if Wentz decides to throw today, and maybe that's what the market's looking at. Maybe that's why we see that little.
It's strange though. Yeah. Rangers are smashing lefties.
Yeah, they're like top 3 outside the Rays and the Braves. I mean, the Rangers are right underneath them for the last 2 weeks.
Trusty says looks too obvious, but line movement on the Tigers has me confused. I'll pass for that reason, but does on paper look obvious. So, Nate Dogg 420 in the house. Let's roll on here, but I'm going to stay off of this spot at this point. Maybe I should start letting this go, and when we get to the Blue Jays game, we can discuss that here. If I'm going to let the market go, I would like to be really confident on a certain spot. Joey Wentz knows that his chance to pitch in the big leagues could come down in flames. Piker says any lefties vulnerable versus the Rangers. I can't make decisions on the slim possibility that Wentz figures it out versus one of the hottest teams in the league. No, I get that, Piker. The idea is just that market being a little strange here. But Billy Friedrich says, Joy Wednesday. I hope you guys get that cash. I will cheer for you all. Let's move on to 210 PO, and the lineup is out. So why don't we pull that up here? Let's pull it up before we go into the next game here with this Tigers. Maybe that will tell a bit of the story. Hopefully, let's just get this lineup out. Here we go. See if there are any other lineups out as well. So we have a ton of afternoon action here. All right, moving a little slow. Here we go. Okay, so this is the lineup. Tabby Cap says, with the Rangers, if you like them, but aren't sure if usually means take the first 5 over. TJ will be on Detroit plus 1.5. And Billy Friedrich says, Tigers just signed Risnick, was dropped by the White Sox and is starting in center field for these Tigers. Simeon, Seager, Lowe, Garcia, Young, Heim, Tavares, Smith, and Thompson for these Rangers. And for the Tigers, McKinstry, Badu, Baez, Torkelson, Matan, Nevin, Short, Rogers, and Risnick. Ugly lineup for these Tigers. But Troy Torrance says, based on his analytics, he sees value in the Tigers. And Tony Bay says, don't overthink it. Rangers money line at any price. I'm going to overthink it, and I'm going to let it go. Let's move on. Next up on the board, 2:10 p.m. Eastern, Los Angeles Angels 29-27, 14-14 on the road at the Chicago White Sox, 23-34, 13-14 at home. We're at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. Let's move over to the weather here. 85 Fahrenheit. It's beautiful. 9.7 miles per hour in, goes down to 8.2. Very similar weather that we have in Detroit. Go over to the line history here for this one. And we have Jaime Barria, who's been very good out of the bullpen, getting a start here for the Angels, going up against Lance Lynn. This opened up with the White Sox minus 133. They're now minus 139. The initial move was towards the Angels, and that gave me pause because I want to back Lance Lynn now after he's started rolling. So that's what we have here, a slight move towards the Chicago White Sox. Let's take a look at the total then in this spot here. We have this opening up at 9. Looks like very little movement here as well, but some at Pinnacle. This opened up at minus 107 to the under. So no, we have a legit move here. This was initially juiced to the under, and now it's juiced to the over. This got to 9.5 at 9:49 a.m. And it lasted there for 4 minutes and right back to 9. There still has been an 11-cent move to the over, but it didn't last long at 9.5. Let's go over to the cash flow for this spot here. We have 80% of the tickets and 86% of the cash on the Los Angeles Angels. The market has now moved towards the White Sox. 37% of the tickets and 69% of the cash on the over. We saw Pinnacle move it up to 9.5, and it only lasts there for 4 minutes. Clearly, though, there are bigger bets on the over, and the public is somewhat on the under. Jaime Barria, nice numbers. His last start was May 22nd. Pitched 5 innings. I believe that was his lone start. I gotta go back. His last appearance was May 27th out of the bullpen, and he got touched. He got touched for 4 runs. None of them were earned. But his start, 2-1 win at home versus Boston, was very good. Lance Lynn, on the other hand, coming off a win at the Tigers, feels like he's getting his shit together. The Bulldog does this often, starts out poorly and sort of gets better as the season goes on. We thought that his work in the World Baseball Classic might help him start the year stronger. It did not. At home, he's got a 6.21 ERA and a 277 opponent's batting average. I just don't believe that those numbers are going to continue. I think he's going to get better. Angels versus righties in May, 258, 745 OPS. White Sox just 234, 674 OPS. The advantage is in the bullpen. Liam Hendricks back, and that's clearly excited not only the fan base, but everybody in that bullpen. 3.07 ERA, 1.14 whip. Angels bullpen, 4.05 ERA, 1.33 whip. Who banging sports in the house? TJ says got to wait for the Angels lineup. One of the studs sitting based on the book taking Halo money. And Troy Torrance says, I'm seeing market moves on the total when the White Sox are at home is 8 and says take the under. I'm very interested in the under. Nate Dogg leaning towards the over. Joe Yerkov says you should like the under, Jimmy. Piker says Barria has been very good. So if you think Lynn pitches well today, first 5 under is a look for you. Let's hear what our Big Ragoo has to say. Game 2 on the board here, 2:10 p.m. Eastern, Angels, White Sox.
Yeah, I want to back Lynn like you do. I think he is getting better. Like you said, you mentioned, and Hendricks coming back is a big part of the equation if you're going to get involved with the Sox today. Also, to shore up that bullpen. But the only issue I have with the Sox is their bats. And I know if Lynn doesn't, he did have a little bit of a control issue last time, even though they had a pretty good win. I think they won like 12-3 last time he was on the bump. But Angels are one of those teams where, they could fire off and score a bunch of runs. And the Barria spot, you got to take that with a grain of salt. Low ERA, 1 and 2 on the season, 5 his last out here. And then I think the market, the move is a little strong for me for Lynn, and I know it's a bullpen day for the Angels here, and Lance probably will have a pretty good outing. And the numbers, like you said, when that number jumped up for 9.5 and it popped back down to 9, so that's a telling sign there too. So I first leaned when I seen the 9.5. I was first leaning towards the under because I think you get a stronger first 5 here out of both these guys. But I don't know. I just couldn't make up my mind. I know Lynn has had some success against the Angels, 4-2 with a 3.3 ERA long term. And the average is almost a K per inning here. So maybe look at a smaller K possibility with Lynn against these Angels, but that might be something I might look at later on. But for right now, I'm going to stay off of this game.
Yeah, the only thing that I believe correlates with the way I see things really is the White Sox full game. I would have no problem backing them first 5. But I think that we have a bullpen advantage with the Chicago White Sox right now. I don't dislike the under, but I think that the White Sox full game is the only thing that I feel comfortable enough to move on. And if I had more action already on this card, I probably would let it go. But clearly 76% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on the Angels and the market moving towards the White Sox has to be telling. Troy Torrance says we need to pay attention to books that are actively trying to beat us. I think that's all of them. Now he was talking about, I believe it was FanDuel, but at least a book that picked up $9 billion in profits. I do think they all are. So I would like to move on the White Sox full game. They're clearly making the price more appealing to Angels backers. And I think that there's truth in that this bet needs to probably get in right away. I think that the market move is not cash. It's people knowing that, 1 billion in profit, 9 billion, right? So my bad. I think that this line move might just be one of the studs is out. It's not money related. Well, clearly it's not money related. It's just because, Trout or Ohtani's not going to be in the lineup here.
So we don't know that for a fact yet.
No, but why else would this move
Yeah.
be taking place? Let's just go over this move. Sorry, once again, and when did it happen? Here, this move. Sorry, pull this up here. Okay, so this move happened at this morning. I mean, at 6:59 this morning, the White Sox were minus 127. There's just been a little bit of a buyback on the Angels since we've started talking about this game, a cent. But I think the White Sox at home are the spot here. We're going to get into that bullpen quick. There's no Berea, no matter how good he pitches, he's not going very deep in this. Yeah. I mean, he could go 3 innings. So Christopher Comptine says, why would they sit Ohtani versus Lynn? Look, I can't answer those questions. Sometimes it's just about making sure that a player gets enough rest. Chris Comptine says, if anyone sits out, it's Trout. Okay, I'm going to move on the White Sox full game, and I'm going to bet it here while this show's going on. I'm going to bet it here the next 10 minutes. Let's move on, and you're off that spot at this point.
Yes. Yeah,
okay. We'll move on to the next spot. Big Ragoo's Tampa Bay Rays in play, 2:20 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay Rays 39-18, 3-12 on the road at Chicago Cubs 24-30, 15-15 at home, Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. By the way, Joe Yurkovich says White Sox 3-14 in Game 3 of a series. Look, I believe the White Sox are better than their numbers indicate. I'd moved on them to win the division at plus 725 like 5 days ago or so. So I'm not going to let those stats. I mean, obviously they've been very bad this year, but it's a horrific division and they still have life. JT on Tampa, first 5 -1/2. Billy Friedrich likes the fact that I'm moving on these White Sox. I hope that's the case. I got to get this bet in quick, but at least the fact that I moved the cent back means that the lineup's not out now. This is a fascinating spot, Rays, Cubs, because you have Zach Eflin, who's been bad on the road, unhittable at home, and Justin Steele, who's been so good this year until his last start against the Reds. We sussed out that something was up in that game. It was either that Hunter Green was going to be spectacular, or it was that the Reds' incredible numbers versus lefties would hurt Justin Steele. Well, they both were in effect, and I did not get paid, and that's extremely disappointing. JT Eel says the White Sox looking like the same mediocre disappointment they were last season. I see a huge difference, JT Eel. They started out this year as the worst team in Major League Baseball. They were just, mediocre and weak last year, not the worst team. So I see a different thing happening here, but I get it. I can understand why nobody believes in the White Sox. Let's get to this weather here in Chicago. 72 Fahrenheit, 10.5 miles per hour right to left, goes down to 9.1 and slightly in. Let's move over to the line history here for this one, the Rays and Eflin versus Steele. We have the Cubbies opening up at plus 122. They're now plus 119. So there's been a 3-cent move towards the Cubbies. There had been a 6-cent move towards the Cubbies. So a 3-cent move towards the Cubbies on the money line on the total. So 3-cent move on the money line. And from a total look, again, this was another line that it didn't come out till this morning. So I thought maybe somebody wasn't going to be in the lineup. I thought maybe something was wrong with Steele after that poor performance. Maybe he had an IL coming up or something like that. Opened up the total juice to the over 8.5 minus 115. It's now a pick 'em. So we've had an 8 or 9 cent move, depending if you're looking on the over or the under, towards the under. A move towards the under and a slight move towards the Cubs. That tells me that Justin Steele's going to bounce back here at home, and Eflin is the one that is vulnerable on the road. Eflin 3.17 ERA, 7-1, 1.02 WHIP, being very good On the road, he's only throwing 17 innings. So he's throwing 54 this year, just 17 on the road, 5.29 ERA, 294 opponents batting average. Justin Steele got touched for the first time all year. So his home numbers are still good. 4-1, 2.65 ERA, now a 260 opponents batting average. Problem is the Rays destroy lefties. That's not changed. In May, 314, 998 OPS. Cubs are not hitting righties in May, 223, 682 OPS, and both bullpens have been bad this month. Take it away, Doc. Your Tampa Bay Rays in action.
Yes, small sample size on Steele versus the Rays. Pretty. I mean, I'm sorry, Eflin. Yeah, Eflin. The Cub numbers versus Eflin are pretty decent, I think, and then Steele's numbers also are pretty good. So I think both pitchers. I know Eflin struggles on the road. Home is a lot different. I first looked at. I was first looking at a possible under in the spot of first fiver, but then the market kind of pushed me back a little bit ways here. But I think Steele, the one outing, just not a whole lot to hang your hat on there because he's been so good. He started out 5-0 early on, been really strong out of the gates. Been a real bright spot for the Cubs here. And Tampa, like you said, Tampa does what they do. They're number one on the list, OPS and against lefties. With the stick, so it's hard to kind of try to equate Rays and an under in any equation. And I was even thinking about a team total for the Rays when I first looked at it also, but then I was looking at the numbers. I said, you know what, I kind of like both these guys. Maybe Eflin kind of comes back a little bit here, kind of strengthen his numbers up and still has a pretty decent outing, which I think he will. So it all depends on Eflin's outing, for that under to kind of cash in on the first five. But I think they'll be doable. I think he's had decent numbers, nothing spectacular, but I think he can hold them down here. So I was going to bank on not the Rays to kind of get the first five, on the money line, but just maybe a first five under here. Look for me going in. I think there's. What's the weather going to be? Is there a chance of a little bit of rain? I think it's a small chance, but not a big chance.
I have no rain here, but a switch has not been very good with it. So let me just go to the actual weather report here. See what we're dealing with. Yeah, you do have some rain in the forecast. When do they expect it to come? Yeah. Scattered thunderstorms at 4. So at some point in the second half of the game, they see some scattered thunderstorms.
That's why I was looking at the first five also. But anyways, I'm gonna say Eflin's gonna have a stronger effort today. He's too good of a pitcher, even though he's been shitty on the road. I think today's a day where he kind of, and like I say, I hate to equate unders in the Rays, and Steele's been pretty good, but I think today's a day where they kind of come back to the middle. I think it's going to be a pitcher's type game today, and I'm going to be on the first five under.
The first five under. By the way, I'm getting the White Sox -1 at -104. About to press the button there on the White Sox -1, -104. Let's line shop for Ragoo here and get his first five under in. First five under. Here we go. Okay, so move over to first five and do a little line shopping for Doc in this spot. By the way, Doc, is there a chance that you can run with us for the Belmont Stakes?
Yeah, I apologize for not getting to spend a longer time with the Preakness, but I tell you, the older I get, the busier it seems like I've been getting. Man, I've been doing a lot of birthdays ending with zeros. More people getting older in my fucking circles. Had a bunch of graduations going on. And even I was trying to reach out to Dami and the gang. I got to apologize because just this past 2 weeks, I think I've had like 2 minutes to myself.
Oh, well, we love when you have time for us, but
this is my relaxation right here, man.
Sharpie says lineup is normal for the Angels, actually very analytical. Angels loaded up left-handed bats versus Sox today when lefties average slugging and OPS go up versus Lynn.
Yeah.
So we can get you the first five under 5 at -112.
Let's book it.
All
I was
right,
hoping we get a 5 in there. Nice crooked number.
You are locked in the first 5. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah.
My bad. I guess I was looking at that white. Sorry, I was looking at the whites. My bad. Let's do this again.
4.5.
So sorry. Yeah, it's 4.5, and it's juiced to the under.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been a rough.
That's
4
all
days.
right.
Me not thinking clearly.
We'll
So
still roll with it.
115s. Can we beat that? We can't. Under 4.5 minus 115 is the best line available.
All right.
All right.
Let's
The
book it.
first 5 under 4.5 at minus 115 for Ragoo with Eflin and Justin Steele. And I'm just about to move on the -1 here. All right. We roll on. Next up for us, 3:05 p.m. Eastern, Cleveland Guardians, 24-30. 12-15 on the road at the Baltimore Orioles, 35-20, 17-11 at home. Some spots are telling us that it's Austin Voth who is making his first start of the year. I mean, this is available to bet, but they're still not giving us a pitcher. We'll do our due diligence here, and I'm going to cap this game as if it's Austin Voth who will be pitching. By the way, Joe Yurkovich on the Rays -130 for him. All right, so here we go. Expecting Voth. Spenny says that he sees Voth. Bieber has been so good this year. He's just a must back. 4-3, 3.04 ERA, 1.23 WHIP. 49 Ks, 71 innings. One of the things about Bieber, and I was talking about this last start when we had him. Unfortunately, I got in early on that first 5 under 4. It was at plus 105, and the Guardians scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th to make that a push. But we cashed that full game under 8. Only 7 runs were scored. But he's throwing 45 2/3 on the road this year, where doesn't have the same type of numbers he has at home. 3.35 ERA, 267 opponents batting average. Voth last appearance was May 26th. Garbage time. That's all he's been doing is garbage time. 3 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 K, 2 walks, and 12-2 loss at home versus the Rangers. He's been okay out of the pen this year. 4.10 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, 25 Ks and 7 walks, and 26 1/3. Guardians versus righties, just 225.97 OPS. That's a horrific number in May. Orioles 246, 723. Their numbers are coming down. Guardians bullpen being so good. 2.69 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. Orioles bullpen 3.47 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. That is the situation here. We take a look at the line movement. I'm not sure you're going to get much of it because we haven't. Oh, sorry, that's first 5. Sorry, let me pull back. Let's see if we get any market movement. I doubt because not all books are even allowing you to bet this one. But let's see what we have on a money line standpoint over at Pinnacle. This opened up with, we've had actually a lot of movement. We've had a 10-cent move to the Baltimore Orioles. This opened up at 9:39 a.m. with the Orioles at plus 112. They're now plus 102. So 10 cents of movement, a lot of movement towards the Orioles. Wow. Caught me a little bit by surprise. From a total standpoint, we have this opening up at 8. This opened up at 8 and it moved to 8.5 at 11:09 a.m. So we have a legitimate move to the Orioles and a legitimate move to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow and see if we get more info here. I don't know if I gave out the numbers on the Rays Cubs for some reason. And if I make these mistakes, it's just getting over the flu. But 10% of the cash and 10% of the tickets and 24% of the cash is on the Cubs. So 90% of tickets are on the Rays. And then on the total, 38% of tickets, 45% cash on the over. Here in this Orioles game, we have 71% of the tickets, 70% cash on the Orioles, and the market moving in that direction. Then we have 81% of the tickets and 95% cash on the over. Nate Dogg leaning towards Baltimore and leaning over. Mike M says 95% of the cash on the over. Cleveland back-to-back spots has a nice undertrend that he's rolling with right now. Take it away for us here, Doc. Guardians, Orioles.
Yeah, Orioles are one of those teams I always have a tendency to just to kind of not autoplay, but just to kind of look at really hard. Especially when they're at home, they've been been good at home. Bieber's been tough on them though. Bieber's had some good success against the squad over the years. But it's a different team coming forward. With the O's, since the break of last year, the All-Star break. So and he did pick up an L versus his lone L against him was last year, later in the season, but. I don't know what the Voth thing, just coming out of the pen. I think he's had like 18 appearances out of the pen. And like you said, a lot of garbage time here. So, and the one thing though, the Orioles can do, they could hit, they score runs, even though Bieber's had, like I said, had the success against them I want to go back and look at a log on here on something here. Let's see what. So 3-0 last time, so they kind of blanked them. But I don't know who's throwing that game. But anyways, the spot here, I would lean towards the over. That was a look I was thinking about. Even if Voth gets touched up, which I'm sure they're going to get some runs. The Tribe will. They'll probably get about 3 or 4 runs on his watch. I say within the first 3 to 5 innings, and then I'm thinking if Bieber holds them down, then the unders, the overs out of play here. But I was thinking maybe like a first 5 over possibly. So if Bieber's going to have a game, he's going to go 6 or 7. If not, he's going to go 3 or 4, and he's going to be gone. And then we get to the Pens. Now you definitely give the Pen advantage to Cleveland here in this spot, or you like the O's pen right now?
I think the O's pen is elite. The issue is, the back end is so special, and they keep needing them. I mean, how many runs were scored? 7. It was a 7-0 lead, or something. 7 runs were scored in the second inning, and yet they still needed to use their best pieces again yesterday. That's the only concern I have. The only concern. I mean, Batista had to come in. Overall, I think the Orioles pen is. I think they're both elite pens. The numbers would lead you to the Guardians in May, but Cano and Batista have to keep coming in and saving the day, even in a game when you're up 7-0. So that's my only concern. But I do think the Orioles pen is as good as any pen that there is.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm gonna pass on this one right now too. I'm gonna hold this one out. Then before we get off, the show's over. I'll decide if I'm gonna make an official play. But right now I'm leaning on the over.
You got it. A lean. So I'll just put that here so I can remember that we'll go back to it. Ragoo has a lean to the over. Biker says Bieber's velocity is way down. He's been lucky to have the numbers he has, and he runs into a hitting squad at home today. He likes the O's and leans to the over. It's a tricky time because Joe, you're saying it's a bullpen day for the O's. I think Austin Voth can go a few innings, but one of the tricky spots there's Nasty Nate in the house. What up, Nate? Is how this bullpen's been used quite a lot lately, and now we have a bullpen day. Oh, and look at that! Happy birthday, Nasty Nate! Our guy, Nasty Nate, celebrating his birthday. Absolutely. Let me make sure I have that here set up so I can remember. We have a Nate birthday pick. All right. Let's run. There's Andrew G in the house. Joe Yerkvist says 7-2-1 Bieber, last 10 starts, full game under. I love, we saw Piker. For me, we've seen Bieber's velocity drop. It's been 2 years since we've seen the big drop. I think he's figured it out, and I think he's pitching very well with it. But I can understand not believing it. All right. So we're going to move on. That's Guardians. Orioles, Ragoo with the lean to the over. I'm not going to get in the way of this market move towards the Orioles or towards the over. So I'm just going to stay off of it. Troy Torrance says, do you see the market moving? Yes, 10-cent move towards the Orioles at Pinnacle. 10-cent move since it opened up late. Big move. A big move for an hour and a half of being available. 3:37 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Atlanta Braves 32-23, 17-9 on the road at the Oakland Athletics, 12-45, 7-23 at home at Oakland Coliseum, Oakland, California. Nasty Nate getting the love that he deserves. Our guy, Nasty Nate, in the house. And Troy Torrance sees a 13-1 straight up spot for the Orioles. Okay, we have the A's looking at sweeping the mighty Braves here. Let's take a look at all the important factors. We will start with the weather. By the way, God, it seems like I'm missing things here. Orioles 77 Fahrenheit all game, and the weather's moving right to left, really a non-issue. Here, 60 Fahrenheit in Oakland, 9.7 miles per hour out to right center, gets up to 10.7 miles per hour, but we know it swirls there and means very little. And it's a pitcher's ballpark with that Huge foul ground section. Let's go over to the money line here and see the movement. Schuster versus Caprillion. We have the A's opening up at plus 196. They're now plus 201. So a 5-cent move towards the Atlanta Braves. Very small. The move was initially, and this came out at 5:35 p.m. yesterday. The move had been towards the A's until about 8 this morning. That's when the market started moving back towards the Atlanta Braves. Let's take a look at where is it? Sorry, let's get the total up here for this one. See if there's been any movement here. And there has been movement. And Pinnacle leading the way. Pinnacle just moved this to 9. Oh, no, they moved it at 8:05 in the morning to 9.5. Wow, I'm surprised. They moved it to 9.5 at 8:05 this morning. And none of the other books have followed them. Oh, yes, I take that back. My bookie has moved it to 9.5. And Heritage has moved it to 9.5. That's it. The other books still at 9. Usually they would follow Pinnacle by now. Let's take a look at the cash flow then for this spot. 13% of the tickets and 28% of the cash is on the Oakland A's to deliver the sweep. 94% of the tickets and 97% of the cash is on the over. Kobe Williams says, what up, gang? Braves have been playing awful. Can Oakland sweep? Nate Dogg looking at Schuster over K's. Billy Friedrich says, A's team total under 3.5 minus 122. Their team total under hit yesterday, even with them winning. And DC Capper looking at the Braves on the run line. Here we go. Schuster pitching for the Braves. Last start, 6-4 loss at home to the Phillies. 5 2/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, 3 walks, 5.33 ERA, 1.34 WHIP on the year. Just 20 Ks, 15 walks. Very bad K to walk ratio for him. Caprillion on the other side, he's coming off 5-2 loss at home versus the Astros. Went 5 innings, allowed 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. He's been awful this year. His numbers are actually better at home than they are on the road. In 21 2/3 at home, 7.48 ERA, 20 Ks, 12 walks, 294 opponents batting average. But the Braves aren't hitting. 235, 720 OPS versus righties in May. A's 253, 707 in May against lefties. And the A's bullpen has been a little bit better in May, and the Braves bullpen has been quite a bit worse. Braves bullpen still being better than the A's bullpen in May. Take it away for us here, Doc. Braves, A's.
Yeah, this is a getaway game for both these guys, but a rare opportunity for the A's to sweep. And both, no matter how I stack up the Braves numbers, I don't like betting against teams or betting into teams that are struggling a little bit. Here I like to kind of get, not a tail end of a streak, but just try to catch it right in the middle or right before the streak starts to happen. But here you go. You got the A's, like you say, when the A's do their damage against better teams, is always at home. There's everybody's better than the A's, right? Whoever goes and visits them mostly. But here you get an opportunity for a rare sweep. So it's got to be an A's play or pass for me here, because all my numbers, when I look at the Brave side of things, they're just too priced up above my price range. I like to have that average money line, right about even or plus a little bit, or minus, on the short side of things, minus 120. I can't come up with an equation for the Braves to do that in this spot here. And I think it's going to be a lower scoring game too. I really do. I think even though Caprillion is a run manufacturer, and I know there's some love for the Braves on the run line, which, if the Braves were hitting the ball right now, I'd say probably so. And they'd probably be juiced up a little higher, but I think that the Braves are going to kind of get out of town with a W here. And like you said, the A's are going to where? To the Marlins, so they're going to party tonight?
Miami, yeah.
Yeah, so are they thinking about that too? They already got 2 in the bag, but like I say, the rare opportunity for a sweep for them. So I think they'll be focused here. Whether Caprillion cooperates with them to get the W or not, be something else. But I think Schuster is going to probably have a little bit better effort too, because he's starting to get a little bit better here. He's coming back. He's got a few games under his belt here, so I kind of like that look there. But everything's a little too pricey here, so I would I'm probably going to stay off of this one also. But if I had to look at a side here, it would probably be the Braves, possibly on the run line as a lean.
This does not appeal to me here.
Yeah.
I don't want to try and catch a falling knife with the Braves, but
yeah.
I can understand. I can understand Capper's thinking that they're going to step up and not allow themselves to get swept here by the lowly A's.
Yeah,
I'm not interested. By the way, TJ,
it's a trap bet, I think.
It's certainly tricky. I mean, If the A's weren't looking for a sweep, you'd think they'd be thinking about being in Miami Beach tonight, or South Beach or whatever. But the fact that they have a chance for a sweep may make them focus here before heading down. So I hear what you're saying. Chief, what up, my man? Thank you for joining us. Justin McElvey is the Braves over 9 on his card. Joe Yergis says Braves 7-12 last 19 games, not so mighty. Schuster at this road price, no way.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. Like I say, Schuster's getting better, but is he, 240-ish, better right now? Huh? And the way the Braves are hitting, so it's a stay off spot.
Let's move on. 3:45 p.m. Eastern. We have the Pittsburgh Pirates 27-27, 15-14 on the road at the San Francisco Giants 28-27, 16-12 at home. And we have the spreadsheet play of the day. This is a fascinating spreadsheet play of the day. Expecting Mitch Keller to get touched once again on the road is our Ron Crawford. He's on the San Francisco Giants at even money on the first 5. And shout out to our Ron Crawford. Sharon Pulliam in the house. What up, Sharon? All right. Gift to Garcelle says don't trust the A's, but he's taking the A's team total under 3.5. Here we're in Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. We'll open up with the weather here. 58 Fahrenheit, 11.3 miles per hour out to center, the deepest part of the ballpark. There, right center really is the deepest part, but whatever. Doesn't matter to me when the wind's blowing out at Oracle. We have Mitch Keller against Alex Wood. Mitch Keller went up against Justin Steele last week, and 17 runs, I believe, were scored in that ball game. So what do you expect from either? You have Justin Steele with a second consecutive home start. I would think the odds of him pitching much better being at home for both of these starts is high, but then he's going against the best team against lefties in the league. Here we have Mitch Keller, who's been so good all year, coming off getting touched for 6 earned runs in 6 innings. And you know what we think of Mitch here. We love Helen Mitch Keller. We love him. Look at him. Gorgeous. Helen Mitch Keller. We're big fans of Mitch Keller. And I love backing Mitch Keller, even when his numbers weren't good, at home. Here he is on the road. 35 2/3, 3.79 ERA, 230 opponent's batting average, but he's been excellent this year. 3.01 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, 85 Ks and 68 2/3 with just 16 walks. Last start, as I said, oh shit, was that against George Kirby? Shit, I was sorry, I screwed that up, thinking Mitch Keller had gone up against Justin Steele. That was all wrong. It was Mitch Keller versus George Kirby that the 17 runs were scored, and that was a total at 7, where some books moved it down to 6.5. That was on Friday. I apologize. It's just been a few days for me. My head's a little cloudy. But so my fault. So yeah, it was Mitch Keller versus George Kirby, and it was just a high offensive game. Move over to Alex Wood, 3.51 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. We've heard that he's fighting with Kaplan. We've heard that from Nut Flush Island, this is happening. And then we weren't sure what he would do in that last start. It was at the Brewers, and he was excellent. 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, 5 walks. His K to walk ratio always sort of been a problem. He's only allowed 3 home runs this year, but he's only thrown 25 2/3. At home, 14 Ks, 4 walks, 212 opponents batting average. Very small sample size, 13 2/3. Pirates versus lefties in May, atrocious. 231, 629 OPS. Giants versus righties, 236, 697 OPS. Neither team is hitting the opposite arm in May. Pirates bullpen has fallen off. 4.59 ERA, 1.27 WHIP in May. The Giants bullpen that was atrocious in April has been very good in May. 2.46 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. All right, let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have a legit move towards these Pittsburgh Pirates. This opened up with the Giants at minus 122. Oh, I take that. Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. So Giants opened up at minus 122. That got down to minus 109 at 10:37 a.m. It's bounced back 5 cents, but an 8-cent move over to the Bucks. Let's take a look at their total here for this one. Again, Pinnacle leading the charge to the over in this one. This opened up at this actually opened up at 8. Sorry, I was just looking. All the other books are at 7.5. Pinnacle's at 8. But this opened up at 8, dropped to 7.5, got back up to 8, dropped to 7.5, and is back up at 8 right now. It's at 8 with a 4-cent move to the over from the opening line of 8. So that's pretty interesting. Take a quick look at the cash flow for this spot. We have 62% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on the Pittsburgh Pirates. And line moving towards them. 58% of the tickets and 93% of cash on the under, and bouncing back up to 8. This is a very interesting situation. Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play day is the Giants. How are you handling this one, Doc?
I hate to go against Ron Crawford in any kind of situation, but I think this is one I'm going to go against him on. But he can still win, and I can still win. So the way we play it, so I'm already tipping my hat. So I'm going to be on the Pirates here. I'm going to be with the market on this one. This Pirate team, every time Keller pitches, they just seem to get behind him. Kind of like when Carrasco with the Mets. Even though Carrasco had a high ERA, they scored enough runs to kind of support him. And certain pitchers in the clubhouse, they either get the run support or they don't. And he's the guy that gets it when he's up on the bump. They just seem to kind of get behind him when he pitches. So, and not to say that Wood's going to have a bad game, because he should have a decent game, overall. But I think it's a good pitching matchup. The line indicates it. Normally I would say the number would be higher in Frisco's in their favor, but I know they come off a big game and they lost a 2-1 on the rubber game of the series here today. So I think Pittsburgh, they've had some rough luck since the hot start here, but they just seem to do well with Keller on the bump, and I think there's still enough talent in the young lineup to kind of come away to victory. It's not a price game that I think it would be. I think I'm getting a little slighted on the number here, but I think the market's indicating that too. But I do like Pittsburgh here in this spot. I think Keller, we get a good effort. I think they score runs, and I think San Fran in a close one, probably like a 5-4 type game, 4-3 type game. So I think I like the under. Usually, like I say, unders. They usually put me on unders of 7.5s, and I might double up here just in case I'm wrong about. I don't want to be wrong twice in one game, but if I'm wrong about the Pirates, I still think both pitchers give a good effort. So I'm going to be on the first 5 under also.
This first 5 total opened up yesterday at Pinnacle minus 122 to the over. There's been a 7-cent move to that first 5 under. It's funny, at 10:15 a.m., the under was minus 104. There was an 8-cent move to the over, and then it was 3 cents bought back. This is confusing. There's Alex Hills in the house. Nutflush Allen, this is the hint that he gives us, says, what is your team total on the San Francisco Giants? So that lets us know that our Nutflush Allen believes that they can get to Helen Mitch Keller. Let's see, where is I thought I had Pinnacle up here. Yeah. Here we go. Let's see what that team total is. I'm getting mixed messages here. I came very close to wanting to move on that first 5 under with you, but rarely do you see Pinnacle moves a first 5 total 8 cents. Now, there was buyback pretty immediate, but it's a pretty big market move there. The team total for the Giants, 3.5 at minus 135 is over. 3.5 at minus 135 over at Pinnacle. Billy Friedrich says the first 5 under 4 is at plus 102 at Bookmaker. Alex Hills, now a member for 7 months. Thank you, Alex. And Mike M says Mitch Bitch Tits Keller over 6.5 Ks. Mitch Bitch Tits Keller. I think Helen Mitch Keller is a much kinder nickname. Ragoo, you are on the Pirates first 5 here.
No, I'm going to be on the full game Pirates.
Full game for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's line shop for you right now. And you're also on the first 5 under or the full game under?
First 5 under.
First 5 under. Yeah, that does look appealing. Oh, sorry, I don't need the line movement here. So the best line we can give you, we have a bet Chris at minus 1. Oh, no, sorry. Jesus, what's wrong with me? We have Pinnacle at plus 106. And no one is beating Pinnacle at plus 106. So that's going to get you started, Ragoo. Pirates full game at plus 106. And then the first 5 under, we see a plus 102. See if we can beat that plus 102. at Bookmaker. It doesn't look like we can. Plus 102 at Sports Interaction as well. And that is our best spot. Bovada has this at minus 110. So let's move on. So
That's a 4 at 102, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
First 5 under 4 at plus 102.
And
Flea
full game
Mathis,
at
what's happening? Oh, sorry. Say what, my man?
Full game at 106, plus 106.
Full game plus 106. First 5 under at plus 102. Just before we move on, I just want to take one last touch on this. So 93% of the tickets are on this under and just 58% of cash. Then you have 62% and 85% of the cash on the Pirates. That leads me to want a first 5 under with you. The full game under 7.5 is at plus 107. Thank you, Billy, my guy. I just want to look at this market move one last time on the first 5. So an 8-cent move, that's what scared me. 8-cent move to the over. That's a big move by Penny. And now they brought it back 3 cents, but someone or some group made a big bet on the over. Okay, I'm going to put some asterisks by your first 5 under, but I'm going to leave it be at this point. Let's move on to 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Next up for us, Washington Nationals at Los Angeles Dodgers. Jojo Rich on the Washington Nationals team total over 3.5. And Larry Garr, Washington first 5 plus a half at plus 128. Here we go. Joe Yerk says a couple bats could be out. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Let's get to the weather first in LA. Chavez Ravine, 63 Fahrenheit, 7.5 miles per hour out to right field. Gets up to 8. Always stays around 63 Fahrenheit. Let's move over to the line history here for this one. Syndergaard versus Corbin. Oops, I got to get back to Pinnacle. Okay, here we go. We have Syndergaard and the Dodgers opening up at minus 230. They're now minus 226. So a very slight move towards the Nationals and a big 7-cent move towards the Nationals at 10:40 a.m. Overall, just a 3-cent move towards the Nationals on the money line. Let's take a look at the total here. Let's get back to full game. Take a look at this total here for Nationals Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Here we go. I got to get back to Pinnacle once more. Here we go. We have this opening up under 9.5 at minus 106. And this got to 9 at 8:03 a.m. It only lasted there for 5 minutes. Back to 9.5. Still, we have 6 cents of movement to the under 9.5. Take a look at the cash flow on this Washington Dodgers spot. 17% of the tickets and 86% of the cash on the Washington Nationals. Wow. That's those are big bets coming in on the Nets. 84% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on the over, and yet a 6-cent move to the under. It's saying here that even some of the books that open these lines up very early open this at 9.5. They don't have anyone opening this up at 9. Gagnon, nice to see you. Says I knew the A's would beat the Braves on Memorial Day, but still got suckered. That's it's all good, Gagnon. It's all good. Just stay. It's okay. So, times to trust your gut and times to let your gut go. It happens. Rocco Rogers says had Dodgers run line last 2 games. We going Nats first 5 money line and the over at 9 today. Billy Friedrich says yes, it's a partial fade of Corbin, but not a full fade. A beefy bet says put a beefy 4-unit parlay on Mitch Keller, Jared Schuster, Noah Syndergaard to all get W's tonight at plus 1593. Patrick Corbin has been quite a bit better this year, but that improvement has happened at home. On the road, he's still red light Rasico. 6 1/3 last start, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 4 walks, and a 12-10 win at the Royals. He's throwing 23 1/3 on the road, 5.79 ERA, 290 opponent's batting average. But those are some big bets that have been placed on him. Maybe it's not on him. Maybe it's a fate of Noah Syndergaard. But, Noah's been quite good at home. Look, he's been terrible this year. 1-4, 6.27 ERA, 1.35 whip. But, and he's coming off getting lit up by the Rays, 6 earned runs in 6 innings in Tampa. But at home, 27 and 3rd innings, 3.62 ERA, 257 opponent's batting average. The Nats hitting 260, 707 OPS versus righties. The Dodgers raking lefties, 273, 916. And both bullpens have been mediocre in May. Nats 4.65 ERA, 1.46 whip, while the Dodgers 4.35 ERA, 1.19 whip. Take it away for us here, Doc. Nationals, Dodgers.
Yeah, another one to try to figure out, kind of weave through the web to try to pick the spot for the Dodgers, or kind of like looking at the A's game, with the last one with the Braves, trying to figure out a way to bet either back them or get off it, and I'm back to that same spot here again with Syndergaard. But like you said, Syndergaard at home has been a little better, but then you got to deal with the price issues, for my model. So that's the thing here. So probably the only look for me here would have to be like some way to bet the Nats here, and I think I'm going to get involved with the Nats on the team total over. I'm going to take my shot, even though Viking has been better. He hasn't been good, so I'm going to take my shot here with the Nats on a team total. I think they scored probably 3 to 4 runs in this spot here, and then I was going to try to get the Dodgers on the run line too, but even I think that's like minus 115, minus 120. So I mean that's cheap enough, but I think I don't trust Syndergaard, even though he's better at home. I can't trust him. I bet him a couple of times early on and got burnt. So in this spot here, though, I'm going to be with the sharp money. I'm going to get involved with the Nats to get some numbers on the board here. Not necessarily win the game, but just get over like what they got to get 3.5 runs here in this spot for a team total.
Let's see. Nats team total over 3.5 at minus 104.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and roll with that. Let's hope it happens early and cashes early, and there's no sweat later on in the game here. So yeah, it's too pricey for me to get involved with Syndergaard on the first 5 here. But I thought, like I said, the only other look I had was maybe the Dodgers on the run line full game, and then. But I think early on, I'm gonna just kind of hope he gets touched up and take the Nats here on the 3.5 total runs. If it ends 5-3, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, this game has a ton of volatility.
Yeah.
Nats
either way, it can go either way, But this is not one of my better games, but I'm going to get involved because I want to try to give out anywhere between like 6 and 10 plays today. I think so far I'm up to like four plays. So I'm splitting the board here. So that just put me down for that one. I was going to put it for put it down for a hard lean right now. Let's go first 5. Let's go Nats team total over 3, and we'll get back to this before we get off the air. This is a later game anyways, right? So we don't have to worry.
Right, 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. This one pops
off.
So
we're just going to put this as a lean Nats team total over.
All right, we have it as a lean right now in capitals, but it's right there. Also, one and done sports in the house, and Wild Hound giving us a look in the Europa Soccer League final. I'll pop that up here one more time for you guys looking to make moves on it. He's got a same game parlay at plus 900 for our Wild Hound. Thank you for sharing that with us. And one and done sports in the house, giving us Jose Ramirez, total bases over 1.5. Piker says, I think the number's right on the money for Washington now. So we've seen the sharp bettors bring it down. I think the value's gone here, but he leans Washington on the run line. Let's roll on. No move from me in that one. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. San Diego Padres 25 and 29, 13-14 on the road. Miami Marlins 28 and 27, 14-12 at home. Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. See what we are dealing with 2 lefties on the bump. Braxton Garrett for the Fish and Blake Snell for the Friars. We have the Marlins opening up at plus 106. They're now plus 102. So we have a very slight move towards the Miami Marlins. Slight move towards Braxton Garrett and the Marlins. Let's take a look at the total for this one. We have it opening up at 8 at some books, heavily juiced to the over. Not at Pinnacle. They opened up at 8.5, juiced to the under. So there's been 7 cents of movement to the over in this spot. Let's pull up the cash flow then and see what we are dealing with for Padres Marlins. This on the money line, 47% of the tickets and 58% of the cash on the Padres. Now that's come down I was looking at this earlier. I am a Braxton Garrett fan, and I want to get involved, but the bigger bets were on the Padres. That's come down a bit. 68% tickets, 85% cash on the over. So we have big bets on the over. Piker says hard lean to the under here. Love Padre unders. TJ says first 5 team total Nats, a better bet. So TJ looking at that first 5 team total over. We have Blake Snell going up against Braxton Garrett. Blake Snell coming off a nice performance at the Nationals. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 4 walks. He's been better on the road than he has at home. 24 and 2/3, 4.38 ERA, 255 opponent's batting average. DC Capper going on the over 8.5 here on this spot. Braxton Garrett coming off a good performance at Colorado. 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. We didn't know how he'd fare there, and he was pretty good. He's been much stronger at home than he's been on the road. 2.70 ERA, 250 opponent's batting average. Padres are starting to hammer lefties. There's our guy Jedi for life in the house. Padres starting to hammer lefties. 260, 811 OPS. And the Marlins have been hammering lefties all month. 302, 837 OPS. Padres bullpen has been elite in May. Best in the league. 1.91 ERA, 1.04 whip. And the Marlins bullpen having their best month of the year. 3.61 ERA, 1.51 whip. Take it away for us here, Big Ragoo. Padres, Marlins.
Yeah. Snell's a little bit of struggle, right? He's had some issues. Like you said, the Miami Marlins hit lefties pretty well. I like them better at home. I'm sure the numbers show better on the splits at home too. In that regard, probably haven't broken down the lefties at home or on the road, but I'm just lefties as a whole. They've been hitting, and I get that overlook. It's easy to kind of put it, but if we get Garrett, that puts out a pretty decent effort here. Even though the Pods hitting lefties pretty good too. All things point to the over here, but I think the value is going to be. The small value is going to be in the Marlins in the first 5 here on the money line. So it's not a huge number, but it's a positive number. And it's where I like to be. So I think the Marlins keep it close here, and early on, and I think I'm gonna go with the Marlins in the first 5 on the plus money side. I think we see like a 5-4 game. Long term, but maybe first inning, first 5 innings. I don't want to lean towards the under. I know it's kind of ticked up there, but I still think if one team is going to have an aberration, I think it's probably going to be the Snell's versus Garrett's arm. So I'm gonna lean on the Marlins here on the first 5 with the money line. It's going to be official, not a lean. I'm going to take the Marlins at home first 5.
Yeah, I would like to as well.
I think the Marlins numbers are good against Snell too.
Yeah, I would like to as well. I like Braxton Garrett. I think that there is a advantage with the Marlins on the hill right now, and the only thing that's keeping me off of it at this point is these bigger bets on the Padres. But it could be like what we saw yesterday with the Padres attacking that Marlins bullpen. So here we're sticking with the first 5.
Yeah, I think the first 5 is a better way to go.
I'm very interested in this one. Ragoo is on the Marlins first 5. Let's see what we can get him at the Marlins first 5. Let's also see what kind of line movement we've had on the first 5. That might be telling.
There you
go. But I would like to join you on this one. Here we are, Marlins first 5. We're not going to get to see the line history at Pinnacle for whatever reason. So why don't we take a look at the Bet Online first 5 line history here. That is that opened up at minus 105, now minus 102. So there's been 3 cents of movement towards the Padres. Yeah, I would like to join you on this. I do think that Blake Snell is better than his numbers give him credit for.
Yeah, we know he is. I mean, but
both these teams hit lefties hard, which is a concern. I'd like to see what the movement is being on the total, if you guys don't mind here. I'm just going to quickly look at that because I would like to get involved here, but I don't want to force it. So we're just going to take a quick look at the first 5, and then we will move on. We've already had Ragoo move on the Marlins first 5, which Makes sense to me. We have a move towards the over, a ton of bets on the over. Two teams that smash lefties. This total opened up at minus 105 to the under. It's now plus 101. So move to the over. The first 5 under 4.5 minus 103 currently at bookmaker. Okay, I guess so. Let's just lock in the Marlins action for Ragoo, and then I'll put some asterisks beside it and look at it a little more. Starting to get cold feet because I do kind of. Blake Snell's one of those pitchers that I want to start backing. I think he's better than the numbers indicate.
I said last time. I think last time I said that we expected the Padres offense to get a little better with them straightening up with Tatis coming back and then like you said, the lefties are hitting lefties right now. So I said there is volatility in the bet, obviously. But I think, I said, I just think it presents itself for the Marlins. If one team is going to get hit, I'm going to say the Marlins are going to do damage in Miami early.
Joe Yurkovich does not see the Padres hitting lefties hard. That's all fine. I'm just talking about the numbers in May. 260 average against lefties with an 811 OPS. Anything over 765 to me is hitting hard. Let's move on. Next up for us, 7:07 p.m. Eastern, Milwaukee Brewers 28-26, 12-14 on the road at the Toronto Blue Jays, 29-26, 14-9 at home at the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario. Roof will definitely be open tonight for anyone who's heading down. See 75 Fahrenheit, 6.2 miles per hour out to right center, gets down to 4.8. So the weather pushing the ball out. Julio Teheran makes his second start of the season against Alek Manoah. Alek Manoah's had a very tough year so far. Spenny penny bombs all over this game. Matt Chapman RBI at plus 120, home run at plus 360. Varsho over 1.5 total bases plus 145 and a homer plus 525. Says limited plate appearances for both first Teheran, but Chapman 2 for 2 with 2 homers and Varsho 1 for 1 with a homer. Says like Belt, but not sure if he is starting. I'm going to copy and paste all that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Spenny penny bombs. Copy and paste that here. So this is the game that's been sitting with me for so long. There's just been this giant market move towards the Milwaukee Brewers. And it's hard for me to suspend my disbelief and think that Teheran is just going to come back and pitch excellently. And that's what he did in that first start. 5-0 loss at home versus the Giants. The market was telling us that he was going to have a good start, and he had a good start. I do not know what to do with him. I want to fade him so badly, but there's been a huge market move towards the Braves. And I want to really dive into this game here because if you look at who Manoah's been facing, it's the toughest lineups in the league his last 5 or 6 starts. Now he faces the Brewers. I really, really want to back him. I want to back him so badly, but look at how big this market move is. This opened up at minus 181 at Pinnacle. At midnight, there had been a move towards the Jays, 6 cents. It was at minus 192 at Bet 365, and I was like, let's just wait and see where this ends up because I saw that bigger bets were coming in on the other side. So I was like, let's just see where. Now it's at minus 170, so we have 22 cents of movement. At Pinnacle, it's minus 155. So, 26-cent move towards the Milwaukee Brewers. That's hard not to pay attention to. From a total perspective, I got first fives. The first 5 is at 5.5. We know that the ball travels, easier in the heat and with the roof open and it's blowing out. So I could see people liking the over. Pinnacle is the first book to move this to 10. Pinnacle moved this to 10 at they moved at 8:52 a.m. and they're the only book to do this. So right now it's minus 110 to the under at 10. So it's gone up a half run. So we have a huge move to the Braves, a move to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow then and see if it all correlates with that. We have 43% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the Brewers. Wow. 78% of tickets and 98% cash on the over. Christian Larson says Manoah has serious command issues. Need to see an indicator of that turning around before backing him. That's completely fair. Manoah 1-5 with a 5.53 ERA. Oh, Larry Garr saying 96% cash on the Jays run line. Why don't I take a look at that? That sounds wild. Yeah, wow. 46% tickets, 95% cash on the Jays run line. Wow. Manoah 1.79 ERA. He's just, Christian Larson talking about his inability to find the strike zone. 46 Ks and 38 walks. I mean, it's just crazy. This guy was a finalist for the Cy last year. Last start, 3 innings, 3 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned, 6 Ks, 5 walks, and a 6-3 loss at the Rays. I want to say he's been better at home. I can't. 23 2/3, 7.23 ERA. Opponents hitting 323 against him, 23 Ks and 21 walks. But the Brewers don't hit righties. 226, 680. The Blue Jays smash righties, 284, 792. Of course, these are main numbers. Brewers bullpen's been atrocious in May. 5.36 ERA, 1.38 whip. Jays bullpen, 3.71 ERA, 1.35 whip. Andrew G says Kiermaier hurt now. DC Capper says Milwaukee's a terrible team. It's too bad. I just don't feel like I want to get in the way of this huge market move, but I think that Manoah can pitch better against this weak lineup. And you expect Tehran to be out of the majors for 2 years and come back and be excellent. One start does not a season make, but he knows what it's like to not be pitching in the show, and we know how that can really push someone to be their best. Diesel Eugene in the house. Take it away for us here, Doc. Brewers, Blue Jays.
Yeah, I seen the big the 10 spot they had for the total early on. I was like, yeah, there's going to be some runs scored here, but who's going to be scoring most of them? And when you look at Manoah, when I've seen Manoah a couple times in early on in the preseason, the spring training, and he looked sharp. I touted that to you early on in the season. I'm surprised he's sitting where he's sitting, because he looked dynamite when I seen him 2 times. But anyways, he's going to start getting better. I think he will. And I agree with you at Tehran. How sharp is he going to be after be sitting out 2 years? I know the market said his first out he was going to be okay, but I think the big issue for the Brew Crew right now is injuries is starting to toll up on them. And they just sent their DH on the DL as of Tuesday, so that's not going to be a good look for them there. They're bringing up some call-ups now, to kind of fill some slots in the lineup on the bench depth-wise. So, and their struggles against righties here, but maybe this is a game Manoah that could kind of come back to where he needs to be. If we get 6 out of Manoah, I'll be ecstatic. But my first thought here was to kind of look at Toronto on the run line. I know it's a big number for Manoah, with his record, but they've got to tell you something there with the -2, with the minus 180 sitting up against Tehran here. I just think it's too many. I think it's too big of a price to lay with Manoah, being how he's been throwing. But I think Toronto's offense is strong enough, and the weakness of Brewers' offense themselves of late, they've been struggling a little bit. So I think it still can equate to an over with Toronto, but I don't want to get to that, have to get 10 runs to make them win to cash the over here. But I think Toronto is live enough with their bats. I know Bichette, I think usually when Bichette has a game, when he doesn't get a hit, he usually comes back with a big game the following game. So I think his last game, I don't think he got a hit. So if you're looking at some props here, I know Spenny's looking at some player props, but I would look at Bichette maybe on a hitting prop, a base prop possibly to get some good numbers today. But I like Toronto on the run line here. I was going to try to get him on a -0.5 first 5 also, but can you see what that is for me on the first 5 -0.5 Toronto?
Yeah, absolutely. You're doing exactly what I wanted to do, but was, I was just scared off at this giant market move. I almost, I almost bet this last night, but I was like, I see big bets coming in on the other side. Let's just wait. Yeah. And then this just monstrous move. It's just crazy. Crazy to me.
I think it's more of a fade on Manoah is what it is, to be honest with you. But I think, like I say, Toronto's bats and Milwaukee's a little bit struggles. That's where they're betting Milwaukee struggles aren't going to be as great as Manoah's struggles here. But I think when Manoah's on, he's on. Like you said, he's a Cy Young candidate, and maybe you don't have all the stuff working maybe he finds himself a little bit today, and then we need to find himself for 6 innings right now.
This is tough. But the minus a half, we can get you at minus 115. See if I can beat that anywhere. I can't. Minus 115 at Bet Chris.
I think the run line itself is like around that number too. It's like 110 or minus 110, something like that. Maybe minus 105.
So we're minus 115 on the first 5 on the full game. Oh no, you're getting plus money
on the full game.
Yeah, plus 120 at Bovada. See what else?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, plus 120.
Let's do a split. I'm gonna invest 2 units, obviously for show purposes, but let me take Toronto on the first 5, and let's take Toronto full game minus 1.5. So minus a half first 5, and full game 9 innings
plus 125. We can get you on that minus
125. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll do the 125, and we'll do the first 5. What was the first 5 number? Plus what?
Minus 115.
Oh, minus 115.
There's our guy DX Filer in the house. Nobody knows says Gordo struggles again. Wow. Spenny says looks like the Leafs are getting Treliving as next GM. Unbelievable. You have Sam Bennett as your 4th overall pick, and you find him worthless, and you give him away for nothing. You should not be allowed to be a general manager in the NHL if you see Sam Bennett and think that he is worthless. Why? Because he's 5'11"? Sam Bennett's a monster, and Treliving is a fucking idiot who wasted away a really good hockey team. Now he's going to... Well, the Leafs will just continue to lose, which will make me happy. So, but what a terrible signing that's going to be. Here we go. Ragoo is locked in. First 5 minus a half at minus 115. Full game minus 1.5 at minus 125. Locked in. Just make sure that's all.
You said the full game was minus or plus?
Full game is plus 125. First 5 is minus 115. All right. Let's move on. Andrew G says, well, it can't be any worse than Kyle Dumbass, to be honest. I think it can be worse. And it's Shanahan who has control. But look, I think Kyle was bad, and I think Treliving was worse. Okay, let's move on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Justin McElvey has got us started with this one. Stacks play of today's Reds team total over 4.5 at plus 102. Piker came in as well. Reds money line at plus 155 and the over 10. Those were the only 2 games that he had bet before this show started. Here we go. Cincinnati Reds at Boston Red Sox. With the Red Sox in action, we'd love to hear what the producer of this show, young Jose, somebody wipe the blood off my tits, Bouquet, has to say about this one. He's going to take a second to be ready here, and no problem. I will set the table. Fenway Park in Boston. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Or start with the weather. 75 Fahrenheit, 7.1 miles per hour out to the Green Monster. Goes from 7.1 to 8.2 miles per hour. Robert Franklin says over 10 and a half. Let's pull out the line history here for this one. And move over. Here we go. This one's a fun one. Weaver versus Paxton. Let's get that back to money line and full game money line. All right, here we go. Sorry, taking a second to move over. Here we go. We have the... Oh, shit, I get to Pinnacle. It's so annoying. Here we go. We're at Pinnacle. Here we go. We have this. Some books open this up at minus 200. Pinnacle came out at 5:33 p.m. with the Red Sox at minus 180. They're now minus 162. So we have an 18-cent move to the Cincinnati Reds. 18-cent move to the Cincinnati Reds. Let's take a look at the total in this spot. Some books open this up at 9.5. Pinnacle opened this up at 10, and it's now 10.5. So a move to the over and a move to the Cincinnati Reds. Jose, great to see you, my friend. How are you?
I've been better, but a good day on the diamond yesterday. I can't complain.
The 35% of tickets on the Reds and 87% of cash, market moving briskly in their direction. 85% of tickets, 85% cash on the over. Beefy Bet says Paxton probably gets a W tonight. Billy Friedrich with a new name for you. Bloody Breastfeeder. Bouquet. Billy always has the alliteration on point. Piker said, since he smashes lefties, expect action on both ends. Makes this game closer to a flip, and you love being this heavy on the plus side on a flip. Expect runs. DX Filer says, I bet the Reds plus 1.5 and money line yesterday. See no reason not to unless you think Cincinnati's bullpen collapses. Almost happened yesterday. Lucas Ryan. Also, we've got a lot of nicknames for you, Jose. A lot of nicknames. Let me set a quick table here, but let's take a look. Oh, we just did. Okay, we're ready to rock. So, Fenway Park, Luke Weaver coming off a great start. 2-1 loss at home versus the Cardinals. Looks like this man wants to be a major league pitcher. 6 1/3, 3 hits, 6 Ks, 1 walk. It was very impressive. On the road, tiny sample size of 50 2/3. And obviously, if he can pitch like he did in that last start, the numbers will work themselves out. Paxton throwing hard, but getting touched. 5.14 ERA in 14 innings, 19 Ks in 14 innings, but has allowed 4 home runs in those 14 innings. Last start at the Angels, 3 innings, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 5 Ks, 3 walks. It was ugly. Reds are smashing lefties. 318, 863 OPS. Red Sox numbers against righties are dropping, especially their power numbers. 267, 739 OPS. Reds bullpen 4.33 ERA, 1.42 WHIP over the last in May. Red Sox bullpen 4.27 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. Take it away, Jose. Your Red Sox in action at home against the Reds.
Yeah, tough game. I don't think the Red Sox should be minus 170 here. So if I had to make a play, it'd be Reds. But I'm passing here. I cashed on the first 5 under yesterday, so that was nice. But I don't trust Luke Weaver enough. I will say the Red Sox offense has been horrific. So I do lean under again, first 5 under here again. But gun to head, it's Reds money line or pass for me. I think Paxton's good, obviously. It's just the Red Sox offense has just been kind of just brutal recently. So pass game for me, but I do lean under in the Reds.
Feels like the Reds should be on one's card. What are you doing, Ragoo?
Yeah, I agree. I think the first look for Paxton versus these Reds too, right? And Reds hit lefties pretty well.
They're smashing them.
Yeah, so same time, Weaver, I mean, it screams over, but, I think that number is a little too steep, to be honest with you. So I think there's a little bit of value in the first 5 under here. Yeah, I would lean the Reds maybe like plus a half a run and then first 5 under. So what's the number on the Reds plus a half?
Wow, interesting. So you guys are both leaning towards an under against this big market move to the over. Wow. Let's pull up the first 5 plus a half. Here we go. Because I was thinking the opposite of you guys. I was thinking high volatility, and you guys are thinking under possibly low volatility. Let's go to the run.
Usually when Jose and I agree on something, it's pretty successful.
Run line first 5 here. Even money. Even money on the plus a half.
Book that for me. I'll take the Reds plus a half first 5. Even money.
Can I beat even money? I wonder if I can beat even money. Let me just see what Pinnacle is offering. See if I can beat that even money. They're not showing me Pinnacle's first 5s. Here we go. First 5 plus a half. Plus 105 at Pinnacle. There you go. Ragoo. Reds first 5 plus a half, a plus 105. Well, I want in on the Reds, and I mean everything is pointing in this way. It's going to be very dodgy backing Luke Weaver, but here's somebody who wants to have a job in Major League Baseball. I think this has got to be a first 5 full game. I don't want to be in a situation where the Reds or the Red Sox come back late and I don't get paid. So I'm going to still believe in the market saying that there's volatility, although I'm not going to touch the total after hearing what you guys have to say. But I'm going to double up here. Reds first 5 and the Reds full game for me. Before we move on, Jose, what do you think about Paxton after he got touched by the Angels?
I like I said, I feel like kind of a broken record. I always feel like he's going to do well, and his major league pitchers go up and down. I don't have the Reds numbers in front of me against lefties, but I'll trust you guys when they say they're good. I actually
318, 863 OPS in May. They're better than good.
Yeah, second half of the month here, Cincinnati 5th against lefties, 143 weighted runs created plus 198 plate appearances. So yeah, it just feels like an easy just like bet the Reds here because the Red Sox offense and Luke Weaver. Could you remind me? Luke Weaver's a righty, correct?
He is.
All right, double checking there. Red Sox offense last 2 weeks, second half of this month has been one of the worst. Obviously a little hangover from the Angels series as well, where they got destroyed offensively, but 76 weighted runs created plus 26 best. It's tough, and I do not want to see the Red Sox lose a series against the Cincinnati Reds, but it seems like it's going that way. They're very streaky.
Billy Friedrich says that Weaver's a righty, but he shucks corn with his left. So important. Sounds like a corn husking shirt lifter that I'm going to back. I'm going to back. Rick J calling him Dream Weaver. Was always playing for some movie when he worked at Hollywood Video in late 90s. Wow. I'm doubling up here on the Cincinnati Reds and should probably get it in sooner rather than later. Market moving quickly towards them. I'm doubling up on the Cincinnati Reds. Jose, are you going to fade your Red Sox?
Probably not. No, I'm not. I don't have anything on the game yet. We'll see how the show shakes out today. Say Hey plays second half of this card with that Dabby Cab, of course, today. So that'll be a whole lot of fun. But I'm not sure yet. I said the same things yesterday. Like I said, I bet the under and I cashed that first 5, thankfully. But I leaned towards the Reds yesterday and I didn't bet it. And I leaned towards them again. I'm probably not going to bet it. Same thing with the Yankees, too. I lean towards the Yankees here again, but I'm probably not going to bet it because, it's just funny how these lines end up working out. But, yeah, pass game for me.
All right. Ragoo on the Reds first 5 plus a half. I'm just going to take him first 5 money line and full game money line. Nice to have some more action on my card because at this point it's just the White Sox -1, which pops off in what? That's the first game on the board.
I like that look a lot, by the way, Jimmy.
Oh, good. That actually isn't until 2:10 p.m.
Yeah.
Not till 2:10 p.m. Okay. Let's roll on. Thank you for joining. Do you have a say hey play of the day here with the rest of the card?
I do not. No. It's bleak over here, Jimmy. It's bleak. I'm still trying to maneuver my way through the fog of the Boston sports just loving to come so close to comebacks. Last night was just another shiv in the back. So no, thank you. I have nothing for you guys today. Come to say hey plays and listen to Dabby Cap and I wax poetically. And hopefully I'm alive by then.
There he is, Jose Bloody Tits Bouquet. Philadelphia Phillies, New York Mets. Next up for a Citi Field in Queens, New York. Take a look at the weather for this one. We have 66 Fahrenheit, 7.6 miles per hour to left field, between 7.6 and 5.7 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the line history here in this one. Or to full game. Sorry, just take a quick second here. Adjusting this back to full game. All right. Let's see what we are dealing with. Phillies, Mets, and another chance to try and figure out Cookie Carrasco. He has not made things easy on cappers, and he hasn't made things easy for years now, ever since he left the Tribe. This opened up with the Mets at plus 114 and now plus 101. So just like his last start, the market believes that Carrasco is going to pitch well. A 13-cent move towards the New York Mets. Wow. 13-cent move towards the Mets. Let's see what the total has to say here with the Mets, Phillies battling each other. Carrasco versus Aaron Nola. We have this total opening up at 8.5. It moved to 9 at. It was at 8.5 for 12 hours. It moved to 9 at 4:50. It moved to 9 at 4:54 a.m. And then it moved back to 8.5 at 9:51 a.m., but only lasted there for 8 minutes. So we have a move to the over and a move to the New York Mets. Nate Dogg leaning towards the New York Mets. Let's see what the cash flow has to say about this spot. We have 57% of the tickets and 72% of cash on the Phillies. Wow. Books are opening up their arms to that action. 54% of tickets and 65% cash on the over. Here you have Aaron Nola and his inability to pitch on the road. 4.59 ERA on the year, 1.12 whip. He's allowed 11 home runs and 68 2/3 overall. In his last start, 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 jacks, and an 8-5 loss at the Braves. On the road now in 43 innings, 2-2 with a 5.02 ERA, 244 opponent's batting average. Cookie Carrasco coming off a 10-1 win at the Cubs, went 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 4 Ks, and 2 walks. He's only throwing 9 2/3 at home, and he looked bad, out the gate. So it's such a small sample size. 10.24 ERA in those 9 2/3, 289 opponents batting average, 4 Ks, 5 walks, 3 homers. You expect them to continue to improve here. Phillies are hitting just 249, 699 OPS versus righties in May. Mets aren't hitting them hard either, 245, 726. Nate Dogg, much love, man. Thank you for running with us. I'm going to reach out today as soon as I can. And I apologize, I haven't. The last 48 hours have been horrific for me. Phillies bullpen, 3.72 ERA, 1.41 whip. Mets bullpen, 4.91 ERA, 1.28 whip. Mets bullpen really struggling here in May. Take it away, Ragoo. What do we do here in Citi Field in Queens?
Yeah, Cookie. I think he does a little better. He's on the improve here without a doubt. Nola's numbers up and down. But normally either way, the question mark here is I think the Mets will hit Nola, involved with the over here. But sometimes the Philly bats. And in the last couple of shows I've been involved with you, I took the Phillies on the run line, but I don't think I'm going to back the Phils here in this spot here. I think we'll see runs. That I do. I think is Carrasco going to be vulnerable here? Does he keep on improving from the last start he had with the Cubby game? I think he does. I think he stays up. But the Mets usually score runs for him in spots where he gives up runs. So either way, it would have to be almost like a Met spot in this particular cap here. But I think we'll see runs both ways. And the only time when I get involved with the Phillies on a team total, they shit the bet for me. But when I bet them on the run line, they win. So, but this time we'll take a different approach on both of them because even though I think Nova is like 9-7 lifetime against the Mets, a lot of familiarity here. I think both teams will put some runs up here in this spot. Even though I think Carrasco has a good game, I think Philadelphia will score a few runs, and the Mets have had some good successes. I like this Mets lineup against Nola here, so it should put me on the Mets side. But I think the over is kind of ticked up from an 8.5 to 9. I think that's the right side. I think either way, if there's a fault one way or the other, the game still gets over 9 runs here. So I'm going to be on the over here.
Let's get you that over here. And you're going to have the opportunity to decide between the 8.5 and the 9. So, by the way, these Mets, they hit Nola. Pete Alonso, 349 with 5 homers and 11 RBIs. Starlin Marte, 375 with a homer and 3 RBIs. McNeil, 308 with a homer and 7 RBIs. Nemo, 279 with a homer and 3 RBIs. Vogelback, 375 against them. This is a Met spot.
The question mark is Carrasco. What kind of effort we're going to get out of him? That's the. I know the Mets are going to hit Nola. That's why I figured if Carrasco is not as sharp as he should be and he doesn't fall, then the Mets probably win, right? But if he doesn't, then there'll be a lot of runs, which puts me on the over. So I'm going to say, since he had such a nice outing the last time, I think Philadelphia will get some runs here also. But they're feast or famine with their runs. They'll score a shitload or they won't score any. So that's how Philly rolls.
Do you want the over 8.5 at -122 or the over 9 plus 105?
No, give me the over 9. If it lands on 9, I'll push. And if it goes over, I'll keep my plus money, my average run line down. So it's I'll live with the 9.
Let's see what they're offering me with the Mets team total here. I'm going to jump all over this game. I do not want to back.
Yeah, what's the Mets team total? That might be a good look too.
Here at Pinnacle, the Mets team total. This is another sign that this is live. The Mets aren't being offered at 3.5 at Pinnacle. They're only being offered at 4.5 at plus 121. That's at Pinnacle. Here at Bet365, they love offering these team totals heavily juiced at 3.5, but of course you can build it differently. Let's just get this right now here. I'm investing in this game.
Can we build a 4 for the Mets?
Oh, I know that we could. Let me just get over there here. Now we'll have to do that at Bet365. There might be other books that you could do better at. They're offering that 4.5 at plus 120. What was it? Just plus 121 at Penny. So the 3.5's at minus 155. So here, this is what it would cost you if we built it. Again, using the -1 calculator, which I hope that you guys all use, it would be a minus 116.
All right, let's do that. Let's take the Mets over 4 at minus 116. And then the full game over the 9 at the plus 120. What was it? 125, you say?
Sorry, the over 9's plus 105.
105, I'm sorry.
And the Mets team total over 4 is minus 116. Okay, I'm in, man. I can't not be. I got to invest in this one. First 5 full game and team total over 4, just like Ragoo's. Moving on. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Piker says we're bashing Carrasco. We should mention he won his last 3 starts. Nola has lost his last 3 starts versus the Mets. Mets like beating him. Piker says Philly's trash on the road generally. Philly 2-7 last night. Or 2-7 on the road. Christopher Carter said I don't have the numbers, but Nola's game always seemed to trend over the past few years. And Razor will be at the Phillies game on Monday night. Phillies game on Monday night. So anyone else in that area, let them know. All right, I'm in. I'm in. This is a good one. This is a beauty. Market hopefully letting us know. We move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Twins 28-27, 12-15 on the road at Houston Astros, 32-22, 15-12 at home. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. I imagine it's hot down there and the roof will be closed. It's not that hot. 82 Fahrenheit, 6.2 miles per hour out. If anybody can get some roof information here, that would be great. Darren Turner on the under 8. We have Louis Varland going up against Hunter Brown. Louis Varland 2-1, 4.24 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, 34 Ks in 34 innings, 9 home runs allowed. Last start, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 Ks, no walks, and 3-1 loss at home versus the Blue Jays. He's throwing 15 2/3 on the road and struggled, but the sample size is small. 292 opponent's batting average. Hunter Brown 5-1, 3.12 ERA, 1.20 WHIP. He's excellent. He's just an excellent pitcher. 66 Ks and 57 2/3. He's allowed just 4 home runs and 57 2/3. Coming off back-to-back starts against the A's. Look, the A's are bad, but any team going back-to-back against is not easy. In his last start, he was elite. 10 Ks, 1 walk, 7 innings, 2 earned runs. At home, he's throwing 22 innings, but 2.86 ERA, 250 opponent's batting average. The Twins and Astros are hitting righties at very similar numbers in May. Twins 220, 713 OPS. Astros 249, 718 OPS. And same with the bullpen, very similar numbers, strong. Twins bullpen 3.35 ERA, 1.31 WHIP. Astros bullpen 3.19 ERA, 1.23 WHIP. Let's go into the line history here because I would like to trust Hunter Brown over Louis Varland. And I know that Louis Varland is a professional pitcher who gets the job done, but Hunter Brown just seems to be elite in my eyes. Let's see what we're getting on the total here because we have 2 good bullpens. This opened up at 8.5. It lasted there for 5 hours. It's now at 8, so we have quite a legit move to the under. Let's take a look at this money line. Abdi looking at Astros money line. It might be expensive, and it is. It's between minus 169 and minus 180. This opened up at minus 161. This got up to minus 176. Since then, it's been back down to minus 169. Still 8 cents of movement towards Houston. LJ from H-Town in the house. LJ, we've missed you. He says, we say Astros team total over 4.5. Let's pull out the cash flow information. And hopefully this just leads us into the Astros. It does not and will not. 42% of the tickets and 86% of the cash on the Twins. 74% of tickets and 49% of cash on the over. Wow. Big bets on the under. Let's kind of feels bad. Like I should have moved on it at 8. Well, that's too bad. I wanted to move on the Astros. Big bets coming in on the Twins. The market didn't move as much as I wanted it to. I don't know what to do now. Let's hear what Ragoo's going to do. Twins, Astros, Doc, take it away.
Under. First 5 under. No mention words on this spot here. Varden, like you say, he's a professional. Brown, just like the other pitchers that stepped up for Houston off the bench to come in and fill the role here for the starting rotation. They've done a spectacular job, and I think Brown is like you said. I think he's awesome here. So I think, and the numbers are going to indicate the under too, because if you look at the righty numbers of late, especially, both teams are not screaming a ton of offense here. So I think under's live here in the first 5 for sure with both these pitchers, especially Brown. I could see a 2-1 or 3-0, 3-1 at the max. That won't cash us, but I could see like a 3.5. If somebody, let's see, I'm thinking, what's his ERA? 4.24 on 2-1 start. I think his numbers are better than that. Be honest with you, I really do. Brown's been spectacular. I think Barlin is, like you said, he's a season pro. So the Houston bats, even though our guys on the over, LJ, we can still catch you over late. But I'm going to go first 5 under here on this spot here. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I get it. First 5 under 4.5 at -113. I think the difference, Joe, is because Joe has a very good question. Astros scored 5 off Gray and Ryan. Why not Varland? The market's indicating that the under is extremely live here. And they're also indicating that the Twins are very live. And Varland's, you know what? Let's take it a second further. Who has Varland gone up against on the road? Hopefully it's some tough spots, because I would like to join you on these 2 moves. Well, I'd make 2. I think these bullpens are strong and I can trust them. But let's see here. Here we go. So these are Louis Varland road games. He faced the Yankees in the quality start, 8 Ks and 1 walk. He allowed 3 earned runs over 6, but there were 3 solo shots. Then he faced the White Sox and got touched up a bit. Then he faced the Angels and was good there. Those are 3 tough lineups. Those are 3 tough lineups. And now he's facing another tough lineup. Don't get me wrong, but this tough lineup is hitting 718 OPS first, right? I've seen enough. I'm joining you on this, but I'm going to go first 5 and full game. Here we go. First 5 and full game unders for me.
Put me down for the full game also.
All right, let's line shop for you. Unfortunately, looks like we're going to have to take an 8 on the full game. The books have dropped this considerably. Let's just go back and look at this money again. Yeah. Oh, wow. Huge move. Another big bets just came in on the under. We now have 26% of the tickets on the under and 69% of the cash. So public on the over, and the books opening up their arms to that cash. Let's see here. Yes, it's going to have to be an 8. Looks like we can give you a +1. Oh, no, that's not a legit book. Let's see here. Okay, so why don't we just see what Pinnacle's offering, just so you have the choice between the 8 and the 8.5 here over at Penny. Only 2 games left for us to cap after this one. We have the under 8. Oh, yeah, the under 8 at -103, the under 8.5 -122. What would you prefer?
Let's do the 8.5.
The 8.5 at under 8.5. 8.5 at -122. I love it. I love it. Sean Pulliam, parlay of the day: Nerfy and Frisco, and Miami and Houston. There it is from our guy Sean Pulliam. Let's pop that in here so we can discuss that. Sean, thank you for sharing that with us. Dennis Trusty says he's seen enough too. He's tailing the under first 5. Joe Yerkman says Minnesota second time seeing Brown this year. I touched on that a bit, Joe, just with the fact that he just saw the A's back to back, and the second start was even better than the first. 10 Ks, 1 walk. Morgan Spooner says underlying numbers point towards negative regression for Varland. Joe, you're saying Varland giving up the home run lately. So a lot going on here. But I'm in. All right. And there's Alex Hills. Respect. Thank you so much for the $10 dono. Blessing our action is Alex Hills. And says Nerfy or Yurfy in Rays, Cubs, and Rangers, Tigers. So Rays, Cubs, Rangers, Tigers. Copy and paste that. We'll go over that at the end here when we just look at each game very quickly as we lock in our final pick. So I've got that copied and pasted, Alex. So he wants to know if it's Nerfy or Yurfy in Rays, Cubs, and Rangers, Tigers. And we will do that for you, my man. Larry Gar saying, what did Doc take in the Rangers game? Let me get back over to that.
The Rangers game, I took the team total over 4.5, right?
Let me pull the.
No, over 5 even, and then plus 113 on the run line.
Oh yes, this is a game that pops off in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Ragoo's on the Rangers on the run line at plus 113, and the Rangers team total over 5 at even money. All right, let's roll on. Alex, thank you for the dono, my friend. We will go over those questions. Oh, but he asked about the Rangers Tigers. That starts in 8 minutes, so we'll answer that one right away. To give you an idea, I think. Well, why don't you answer? Do you think a Nerfy or a Yurfy? I mean, the fact that you're on the Rangers team total over 5 does that mean you lean towards the yes run first inning?
Yeah. Yes. Bats stay hot against Wentz.
All right, and then we'll touch the Rays Cubs. You're on the first 5 under 4.5, which means that one would be the Nerfy.
Nerfy.
All right, there you go, Alex Hills. That's right from Big Ragoo. The Yurfy in Rangers Tigers, the Nerfy in Rays Cubs. All right, let's move on. Joe Yurkovich, Astros team total over 4.5 at plus 104. So he's rolling with our guy LJ from H-Town in that spot. Let's move on. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. I'd be very interested in that, Joe. I'll be very interested if your X's and O's, are better, pay you out rather than the market, which is to me clearly on the other side of that. So, so I'm going to copy and paste that just so I can review it and maybe give me confidence to go up against the market, because I would have liked to in the Jays game today. I would have liked to. So I'm going to copy and paste that, Joe. I'll be very interested to see if that is a casher for you, my friend. And Joe's a hell of a capper. All right, we have 2 games left on the board. Next up for us, 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Rockies 24-32, 9-18 on the road at Arizona Diamondbacks 32-23, 17-12 at home. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. It's the time of year where the roof is closed, but let's get that. As a fact and not a guess here. Here we go to the roof status and closed. Oh shit! Oh, it's open. Sorry, it was closed, 26, 27, 28, 29. It was open yesterday, and it's open tonight. Closed tomorrow. Important. Open tonight. Interesting. Okay. With the roof open, let's take a look at the weather. Here we go. It is 85 Fahrenheit, 13.2 miles per hour left to right, very slightly out. Goes down to 10.9 miles per hour, very slightly out. Let's take a look at the line history in these spots. Start with the money line and Tommy Henry on the hill. A huge move to the Colorado Rockies. These Diamondbacks have gone from minus 180 all the way down to minus 156. A huge move to the Rockies. So we have a 24-cent move to the Colorado Rockies. Let's take a look at the total in this one. Move over to Penny. Wow, that is a big move. Here we go. This opened up at 10 at minus 1. So it's exactly where it is. But there's been no movement, but it did drop to 9.5 at 7:19 a.m. And it lasted there for an hour and 10 minutes. We're back at 10. So no move on the total and a huge move to the Rockies. Darren Turner says over spot and Diamondbacks money line. Let's see what the cash has to say about this. 26% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on the Colorado Rockies. Something or someone, syndicate or some big baller made a huge bet on the Rockies, and the books have shown concern. Then you have 44% tickets and 94% cash on the under, a spot where the books haven't really shown concern. Wow. So the question is, what the hell are we going to get from Dinelson Lamet coming in off the 15-day DL with a back injury? He hasn't started all year. Now, he stretched out to 63 pitches in his final start with Albuquerque and struck out 6 over 4 and 2/3 scoreless. This is a pitcher who we thought was going to be a top of the rotation guy with the Padres 4 years ago. He never became that pitcher, and now he knows what it's like to not pitch in the majors. This is an interesting opportunity for him. You know, we've seen some pitchers like Luke Weaver and others respond saying they want a job. Julio Teheran, that they want a job in the majors. And that's what Dinelson Lamet is doing here. Going up against Tommy Henry, who's sort of falling out of the starting rotation with the Diamondbacks. His last start was on May 22nd, and it was pretty good. 6-3 win at the Phillies, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, solo shots, 5 Ks, and 2 walks. Last appearance, May 27th, 1 1/3, and looked good in an important game, a 2-1 loss at home versus the Red Sox. At home, he's been much better than on the road. 3.44 ERA, 242 opponents batting average, and 18 1/3. And the Rockies aren't hitting lefties. 239, 686 OPS. Diamondbacks versus righties, they're hitting them hard. 255, 782 OPS. Ricardo Morel says still a nice spot for the Diamondbacks. Well, but you know, whatever works for you. But we've been the books have tipped their hat with what they think is going to happen on the side. Rockies bullpen 4.27 ERA, 1.44 whip in May. Diamondbacks 3.62, 1.40 in May. Take it away for us here, Ragoo. Rockies, Diamondbacks.
This game to me had the most vulnerable outcome out of all the games that I handicapped today. But then I says, what the hell is this market move all about? You know, going back and looking at it, and I started looking at Henry's numbers, and Henry's numbers. He's like 2-0 versus the Rockies, maybe a little bit pricey, you know, for that matter. But they've scored a shit ton of runs against this team when they play. And maybe they opened up the roof because they want the fucking ball to fly out of the stadium against Lamet. The D-backs do. So, you know what? I was off of this game. I'm going to be on it now. I'm going to go against the market move because that's what I do. And I think the Rockies, the Diamondbacks smash here. And they come away with a big run line victory. I'm going to double up on this spot. I'm going to take the D-backs team total over, and I'm going to take them on the run line here because they went big today.
Wow. Look at that. I'm very close to being on the other side of you for the first time all season long, Doc. But let's lock you in here. First off, with the
I just got a charge in my system when I went back to read this and was looking at something. I said, you know what? I'm on this game now. Let me double up on it. So that's some of our best captain comes from sitting right here in this fucking chair, hanging out with you guys. And do I cash them all? No, but I cash when I get on a game like this. It's usually a pretty decent look for me. So I like it a lot. Not best play today, but pretty darn good one. Give me the D-backs.
Team total over 5.5 plus 101.
I'll take it.
Team total over. That seems like a. Is it, because
that's a big number.
5.5. We're at 10, so that does make sense. So team total over 5.5 at plus 101, and the minus 1.5. Here we go. Minus 1.5. Oops, sorry, move over here. All right, move over to run line. Let's see the best line we can give you. I see what Pinnacle is offering up, and it's pretty good. They're giving you the minus 1.5 at plus 115. Let's see if we can beat that here. Minus 1.5. Yeah, bet Chris at plus 120, and that's the best one available. So let's lock you in there. Minus 1.5 at plus 120. Wow, this is wild. This is absolutely wild. I mean, there was a time when the Rockies raked against lefties, and that was obviously over. This is just such a big move towards the Rockies. Morgan Spooner says Lamet just came out of a Coors-like environment. Says he likes his showing in the Pacific Coast League. Think he's worth a bet. Who's swallowing Henry at minus 175? You know, I'm with you. I'm with you, Morgan. This is not something that I would like to do often or ever. And this is the first time I've done it all year, but I'm going to be on the other side here. This is just a huge move towards. Now, also, I was one of those that believed in Dinelson Lamet. And I really like the opportunity to back someone who knows that their career is hanging by a thread. And here he gets a chance. And I don't know what Tommy Henry is going to give you. That he was pulled from the starting rotation. Even though he looked pretty good at the Phillies there in that last start. The Rockies aren't hitting lefties. This is just big plus money opportunities for me. Maybe I just cash the first 5 and you cash the full game. But I'm going to double up here on the other side. Makes me very nervous, but I have to here. Wow. This is wow, Troy's only seeing a 5-cent move. That's wild, Troy. Let's just go over that market move one final time here at Penny. Make sure that. Wow, this is wild. So this opened up at -180 at 5:30 yesterday, and there was immediate move towards the Rockies. 24-cent move now -156 at Pinnacle. Okay, we move on. Final spot on the board here, 9:40 p.m. Eastern. New York Yankees 34-23, 15-10 on the road at Seattle Mariners 28-27, 16-15 at home. Take a look at the weather at T-Mobile in beautiful Seattle, Washington. Man, I miss that place. 55 Fahrenheit, 7.8 miles per hour in. Goes from 7.8 down to 6.1. All right. Let's move on to Sean Pulliam says, sounds like tomorrow you're ranting about why did you take Colorado. Look, if Ragoo wasn't here, that would have been a slam dunk. The fact that Ragoo is here is the reason why I am really nervous about it. But we'll see, Sean. I mean, they're also plus money spots, so we'll see. All right, Yankees, Mariners, Clark Schmidt versus George Kirby. And Kirby's coming off that start against Mitch Keller where he got completely lit up. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with here, line history-wise. First off, we'll start with the money line. This opened up with the Mariners at -129. They're now -136. So 7-cent move towards the Seattle Mariners. From a total perspective, we have it opening up at 7.5 minus. There's been no movement. A 2-cent move to the over. 2-cent move to the over and a legit move towards the Mariners. Take a look at the cash flow for our final game here on the card. We have 36% of the tickets, 72% of the cash on the Seattle Mariners. Wow. Expecting a bounce back from Kirby. Expecting Schmidt not to be very good. 19% of tickets, but 40% of cash on the under. So big bets are being bet on the under here. I just want to look at that movement on that total once more. The movement on the total was no movement. So no movement on the total and 81% of tickets on that over. Oh, man. There weren't a lot of opportunities for me in the early games, but there's just a massive amount on these late games. I mean, how could the under and the Mariners not be screaming at you here? LJ from H-Town on the over 1.5 bases, -108. Clark Schmidt, look, I've been supporting him. I was heavy on the under in his last start, and he brought it home for us. I believe in the Yankees the way they judge pitching, and they keep throwing Schmidt out there every 5 days. His last start, 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 2 walks against a tough Orioles squad. The issue is what he's done on the road. On the road's been a problem. 7.27 ERA, 347 opponent's batting average. I expect that to progress to the mean. George Kirby, on the other hand, coming off getting lit up and smoked. 4 2/3, 7 earned runs, 4 homers against the Pirates at home. Now he has that back-to-back start at home, and his numbers are inflated heavily. 4.76 ERA, 284 opponent batting average. Troy Torrance says he's a big Clark Schmidt guy. Piker's on Seattle -1 and first 5, -0.5 here. Yankees are hitting righties, 259, 790. Mariners aren't hitting righties, 238, 720 in May. And both bullpens have been very good in May. Take it away for us here, Doc. The team that you fell for as a young man, your New York Yankees at the Seattle Mariners.
No doubt, my friend. So, yeah, I mean, that number indicates the total indicates that they think Schmidt's going to have a decent start. I think so, with the 7.5. But most of the games have been in the 7s on this road trip for the Yankees over there. So why should it be any different? And the Yankees, they've won like 4 in a row. Even with the lineup that's nicked up, they're missing some pieces, obviously, on the offense, but they keep producing, they keep winning. And, I'm a streak type of guy, and there's not many opportunities that I get to play on the Yanks at a plus price. And I think Schmidt will have a decent outing. So I'm going to play it on the safe side for the insurance side of things. I think the first 5 is live on the under again. And the Yankees have been doing most of their damage early on this road trip. In the first 5, they've been outscoring their opponents. I think it'll go about 5 or 6 games back before I think in one of the Pods games that they were getting beat up early. But I like the Yankees again here to keep it close early. I'm going to take a plus half a run with the Yanks in the first 5.
Okay, let's see what that will cost you. I'm very interested to see what that's going to cost.
Yeah. Or I might just take them on the money line. If it's over like 125, then I'm probably going to take the money line on the Yankees.
I do not want to have 4 bets on this game, but I'm starting to lean in that direction. Ugh.
Actually, you know what? Take the first 5. Take the plus a half run. Just give me the Yankees on the money line in the first 5.
Okay, because it is under minus 125. It's minus 122.
Yeah.
So it's minus 122 or plus 118.
Let's go. Let's do the plus 118. Yankees plus 118 first 5.
Yankees first 5 plus 118. Look, the market is screaming at us, and it follows my X's and O's here. Just like Troy, I love when a brass that I respect keeps putting a pitcher out there every 5 days when they have options because they believe in him and his numbers are, high. I love backing those pitchers, and we did it the last start and cashed on unders with them. I'm going to do the same here. Now, I'm going to need a George Kirby bounce back. We have 2 lineups that haven't seen the opposing pitchers.
True.
I don't see how this isn't a low-scoring baseball game. Again, 19% of tickets, 40% of cash on the under. I have to follow that. 36% of tickets, 72% cash on the Mariners. I mean, my whole day is going to be sitting here on this last game of the night. Ron Walsek says, Yanks best record in May. Go with Ragoo or go broke. Love my guy, Ron.
I won't put you in the hospital. I might put you on a stretcher every now and then, but you'll never get carried out.
Doc, you are not far from our friend Ron Walsek. You guys are not far from each other.
Oh, yeah.
And Ron Walsek is the man who is the first person to start finding homes for Greyhound race dogs. Started it in 1984, and it's built up huge. And that is our Ron Walsek. So he's right near Clearwater.
Okay. Yeah, the Greyhound industry is gone in Florida as far as the pari-mutuels go, but there's still a lot of nice pets running around the state.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ron, for doing that.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Troy says market moving towards the Yanks. And let's just go over this one more time because it's just too much to have invested here. So I have a 7-cent move towards the Mariners here. So I don't have it moving towards the Yanks. Let's just take a look at first 5. And again, with Troy and I with different, if you want to trust FanDuel and DraftKings and it's working for you, then do just that. Don't feel like you need to, just do what works for you. We're not going to be able to find Pinnacle's moves on the first 5, but we'll use Bet Online's moves on Seattle first 5. All these guys making a lot of money on the Yankees right now. And there was a 5-cent move and it came back. So there's been no move. Connor on Yankees run line. All right. I'm going to have to do this. Oh my God, I'm just starting to drip. I'm gonna have a lot of money invested in this last game of the night. I'm nervous. Mariners first five, Yankees Mariners first five under, full game under. And then the problem is that I mean, am I gonna have to? I can't swallow all this juice. Maybe that's the fear. I mean, what would I have to pay for the Mariners first five here? God, it's expensive. It's too expensive, and then I have to take a minus a half run. Ugh. And a full game, I would have to take on the -1 line on a game with probably limited volatility. I mean, we're asking to invest too much. All right, I'll have to make these decisions on my own. The first 5.5 is still juiced. Okay, well, I'm going to be on the first 5 under and the full game under. That is a for sure. The question is do I move on the first 5 and the full game with the Mariners? Wow. And Troy Torrance says he would never be on the Mariners in this spot. And this is a spot where I'd be all over them. 36% of the tickets, so the public's all over the Yankees, and only 28% of the cash on the Yankees. And we know how people want to bet the Yankees. But one of the fun things about this industry is that whatever is working for you, we can read numbers differently as long as we get to the cash. Because this, to me, Troy, is screaming Mariners. But I'll have to see if I put my money where my mouth is. That is our show for today. Let's review all action here. And we need a birthday pick for Nasty Nate. So
Nasty Nate's birthday. Oh, shit.
If your cash flow is exactly the same, then why would this not be a Mariners spot? If you see the public all over, the public's all over the Yankees. Oh, because your line open and close is different. Okay, all right. Because I see that we have the public all over the Yankees and none of the big bets on them. So we have Rangers -1.5 and the Rangers team total over 5 here for Ragoo in game 1. That's already popped off, and they had 2 men on and a chance to cash in the first inning. Then I'm on the White Sox full game. Ragoo is on the first 5 under 4.5 in Tampa, Chicago. Ragoo, you had a lean to the over in Guardians Orioles. Did you want to pull the trigger?
No, because I got too much action laid down on the other game, so I'm staying off for those leans.
All right. Then Braves A's, we stayed off. Ragoo's on the Pirates full game +106, first 5 under +102. I'm very interested in this spot, but I'm going to need to look at it a little more. Spreadsheet play today is the Giants +100, first 5. Joe Yurkovich, Yankees first 5, team total under 1.5, but even money maybe. I like that. Nats team total over 3.5 was a lean for you, Ragoo. Does it make your card? Cut it.
No.
Larry Garr on the Nats first 5 +0.5 at +128. Ragoo's on the Marlins at -102. He is on here. You are on the Jays. God, you're doing everything I wanted to do. You're on the Jays first 5 -0.5 and full game -1.5. God, I love that you're doing that. Reds first 5 full game for me. Ragoo's on the Reds first 5 +0.5 at +105. Justin McElvey stacks play today is on the team total over 4.5 for the Reds at +102. Piker's on the Reds money line and the over 10. Ragoo's on the over 9 at +105 and the Mets team total over 4 at -116. I'm tailing that Mets team total over 4. I'm also going to be on the Mets first 5 in full game. Joe Yurkovich is on the Astros team total over 4.5 at +104. Ragoo's on the first 5 under 4.5 and the full game under 8.5 -102. I'm joining him on the first 5 under and the full game under. I just don't know if I'm going to get the 8.5. Ragoo's on the Diamondbacks team total over 5.5 at +101 and the Diamondbacks -1.5 +120. I'm going to move on the Rockies first 5 in full game nervously. Ragoo's on the Yankees first 5 +118, and it looks like the most money I'll invested in a single baseball game all year here. Yankees, Mariners, first 5 under, full game under, first 5, full game. I guess I could move my unit size from 150 down to 125. I'll probably do that, 500 is a little easier to swallow than 600. All right. That is our show for today. What a treat it is to cap with you, Doc.
So
Doc
much fun,
off 7 and 3 plus 4.33 units. Sounds like Doc will be able to join us for the Belmont Stakes. That is wonderful. We love capping with you. Before we close, I don't know why the whole world isn't on Forte in the Belmont Stakes. The reason why we'd be on Tapit Trice is because Forte would have just won the first 2 jewels of the Triple Crown and be exhausted. But he's not exhausted. And I think people forget how good he is. Are you using Forte at this point in the Belmont Stakes?
I'm going to have to use them. I mean, how many shooters we got from the Derby coming over?
Let me give you the exact group here.
Because, we only had the Derby champ that was running the Preakness, and everybody else took a bow. So I think they're going to wind up changing that down the road. They're talking about it. Giving everybody a month.
We have... You're going to give me it listed. Here we go. Now, this has changed because Forte is now 2-5. And Tapit Trice is now 3-1. So I don't know where. This is CBS Sports, but it's changed. Angel of Empire at 4-1. National Treasure at 6-1. Arabian Lion at 10-1. King's Barn's been scratched, which sucks. Sun Thunder at 30-1. I don't know. I thought that there'd be more scratches than this, but Red Route 1 at 20-1. I think this is wrong. Let me just see it. Let me get a different one here. I think this is too late. That was just a day ago, though. Here it is. This is this going to give you the fair odds or what the odds are here? We have 11 horses in it. This is what I believe is actually happening right now. But they're calling this Ed's fair odds. But Forte 5-2, Angel of Empire 9-2. There's 11 horses in the race, and Tapit Trice is 3-1.
Yeah, Tapits are always dangerous in the Belmont.
Always. But usually he's going up against a tired star. I don't know. I think it's a big bet time on Forte.
Single.
I don't know. I guess I got to study it more because I love Tapit horses in the Belmont. But
yeah,
I guess it's going to need a little bit more work. So you're still making up your mind?
Oh, yeah. We got plenty of time. A lot of stuff can happen between now and next Saturday from this Saturday. So
I love it. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody out there, please follow Doc on Twitter at Big Ragoo 62. Doc, any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
No, let's cash some tickets, guys, and then we'll see you, 2 weeks from today, back on your show again. And, of course, we'll see you next Saturday at the window for the Belmont.
Thank you for watching the chat. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Troy Torrance, Saturated Rants, Beefy Bets, AOD, Joe Yurkovich, Connor, Hurdy, Kelly, Christopher Carter, Troy Torrance. Love capping with you, man. Very interesting stuff. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how this all bangs out. Ron Walsek. It's a great group here. Viper NB, Lucas Ryan, Poker Addicted 79, LJ from H-Town, Sean Pulliam, Larry Garr, Morgan Spooner, Robert Franklin, Ricardo Morel, Dennis Trusty. Thank you, guys. Quinimus, Alex Hills, thank you for the dono, my man, Alex Hills. Thank you, guys. Now let's go out there and get that cash, man. It was a bad week last week. And, man, it's so important for us to succeed here. It's so goddamn important for us to succeed here. Today's a really, really important day. Al Cervic, my man. What a guy Al Cervic is. I've shown off your picture. I don't have it close here. But Saturated says, who do you like in NBA tomorrow night? I would like a little bit more time. We'll break it down heavy tomorrow. I'd like a little bit more time on that one. I'm really excited about it. So you guys know that I have the Nuggets at plus 630, and it will cover every future. Or sorry, plus 230. Jesus. Plus 230 before the Lakers series. But it'll cover all of my futures. It'll cover everything. Give me a slight winning season in NBA futures, which I'll need after a losing season in HL futures. So I like the Nuggets to win it all. I just not entirely sure how to bet it from game to game. Thank you guys for sticking with me through this flu that I'm just getting over. I'm just sweating out sickness and don't have the energy I'd like. It was a little cloudy at first. But thank you for sticking with me. Thank you to our producer who does such a great job, Jose Bouquet. We have huge shows today here on the channel. Balking Dead at 3:10. Say Hey Plays of the Day at 5 o'clock. And a night sesh Dabby Cab and Dutch Boy Fresh back in action, 10 p.m. Eastern tonight for a little sesh action. Let's get that cash roll. That shit like that shit. Smoke leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers.